Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 97 of Miami Dolphins content. Your boy Bleezy and CT in the building, as always. For those of y'all watching on Twitch, X, and all that, come on over to YouTube, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can catch us when we're on live. What is going on, Bleezy?
What's up, CT, man? Happy Monday night show, as always, man. We're rocking and rolling. There's not a lot of stuff going on in Dolphin land, but actually there kind of is on the back burners. We're getting our coaching staff put together. We're evaluating all positions, who we're going to keep, who we're going to let go. And it's kind of interesting, really. A lot of people say it's a slow time of year, but there's a lot of stuff going on right now, man. No joke.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of it's going on backstage. It's not a lot of in-your-face stuff. And, fuck, I forgot the title of the show like a dumbass. We're going to be debating Tua'S worth tonight. And, yes, Miami Dolphins have officially filled out their coaching staff. So we're going to get into that as well.
That Tua contract's one of the big ones I'm talking about, man, And so CT knows a lot about this stuff. That's why he's here to break it down. Everybody stay tuned.
Yeah, man. And like you said, I mean, it comes down to so many free agents and we're still in cap hell. And, we're talking about wanting to re-sign Christian with the signing of Anthony Weaver, his obvious infatuation with Christian Wilkins. We got Tua. You got to make Tua happy to a degree. You can make him play on the 5th-year option, but if he balls out again, now you're going to be paying him a shit ton more money than if you try to get it done this year. And getting it done this offseason does allow you a little bit more cap flexibility to re-sign some of these guys, especially if, the head honcho, Mr. Ross, goes ahead and writes a big blank check. That would be definitely awesome for us. But yeah, man, let's get into it though. We've been debating this for a little while. Everybody's got a difference of opinion, but again, as of this year, he was first in passing, second in yards per attempt, third in completion percentage, tied 5th for overall passing touchdowns, and he was third in QBR. So, I mean,
right, that's pretty strong, right?
That's
pretty strong, man. Those are pretty good numbers.
And when you put it up against other people, not only is it comparable to the top quarterbacks, and that's something you and I talked about privately. You're talking about $45 million for the bottom of the barrel fucking quarterbacks, and then you bring in a guy who literally is in top 5 in almost every statistical category.
Throw that back up there. Throw those numbers back up there.
That's man, strong, for sure.
That's strong stuff right there, man. I mean, top to bottom. Damn.
Absolutely. And like I said, you get into these metrics and you try to compare those to other contracts that other guys have gotten in the last year or two. I mean, like we talked about, you got Daniel Jones at $42 million who shit the bed. He got benched, no longer even on the freaking team in New York. And it's like,
worst
come on, man.
Ever.
I mean, I wouldn't say ever, but it's got to be up there.
Contract. I think it's going to be hard to compare to his I go to Justin Herbert is when I start comparing what Tua or what I would think Tua should get paid. And guys, if I'm not mistaken, you can look it up. Justin Herbert's making about $53 million a year, I believe. CT, something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, how can you even compare that? I mean, as much as I hate to say this, and again, it's not a knock on Herbert, but Herbert's got the athleticism, he's got the arm, but again, other than his first year with Anthony Lynn, he hasn't had a successful season since. And so you
Right.
sit here and talk about that. He got 53 million and he's had one successful season.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm to his agent, I'm going in there saying 53 million is the floor. That's the bottom line. If we need to
Yeah,
reset the market, you know, if
and I
I'm to
don't
his
think he's
agent, that's what I'm using. That's what I'm talking about.
absolutely, but we also understand. I mean, Tua is not going to set the market as far as every
No,
quarterback.
I know. No. He's not that. Yeah. Right.
Because I really think if you want to talk about worst contract ever, I think the Deshaun Watson contract with all that fully
Cleveland.
guaranteed money, I think that's probably the worst one out there. But
Mm,
I digress. But I'm thinking again, if you can get him in that $55 million range, that'd be
yeah.
great. But at the same time, like I said, if Tua balls out and we've already know his numbers this year, say he has a repeat or fucking, improves tremendously, what happens when he's freaking top 3 in every single one of them, even though kind of he
Hey,
already is.
right.
But
Then he will be looking to break the bank, like we're
yeah,
talking
then he
about.
is going to be wanting fucking 60, 65 mil a year. He's going to be wanting,
Mhm.
Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers type money. And
Yeah.
then you're in a whole shit world of problems because, again, we've already talked about it. You got to re-sign Jalen Waddle. You got to re-sign Javon
Um,
Holland,
Jalen
Austin
Phillips.
Jackson. Is Jalen Phillips in that same
Yeah, he's
one?
that same class. Yeah, with
Yeah,
Waddle and
bro.
Holland.
Like, come
Yeah.
on, man. And people keep on saying, "Oh, but you don't understand. The cap is manipulate. You can manipulate the cap. Yeah, to an
Only so
extent.
much, man.
Yeah, you
That's
can only do
why
it so
that
much."
and that's why I think Christian Wilkins is about to go by, man. We can't handle that contract. We can't handle that money unless they do some crazy franchise tag stuff like that. Oh, look out in the building.
Yes, sir. Green Rat
NBC
coming in
shit
strong.
talker. What's he saying? 4 year, 45 million and 10.
10 hogs, Garrett. Hey, you know what? Hey, he might want that. He might be doing that backyard barbecue. But
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is I don't see that happening either. There's no way in hell he's taking what is that, $11.5 million a year? That's not happening. Him playing on the 5th year option at what is it,
Oh,
21
bro.
million?
Like
There's
I said,
no way he's
you got to go
accepting.
by the market value, man. You go by the market rate. You go look at where he was drafted. Okay, look at his numbers. Look at his win loss record. All that, man. I'm sure they break it down. I'm sure the analytics are through the roof. But that's what I mean. Look at the basic, man. Common sense, man.
But
And
the thing is then the haters come out and go, "Oh, but you can't go by win-loss record because it's a team sport." And it's like, okay, but then when I make the argument that you can't sit here and say it's a team sport, you can't put all the wins and losses on Tua, yet every time the team loses, it's Tua's fault. So which one is it? You can't have it both ways. And that's
right,
the problem is people are so infatuated with Tua one way or the other. And it's
right,
like,
right.
you can't have it both ways.
No, you're
And
right. You're right.
so it comes down to, look, the guy's going to get paid one way or the other. And I understand the argument. People try to make the argument, oh, well, Tannehill was just good enough to get us to the playoffs, but nothing better. I'm sorry, but Tua's way better than fucking Ryan Tannehill. Can we fucking get, oh, he's
Yeah,
saying
Green
he's saying
Rat,
45 a year is what Green Rat is saying.
and that may be about right. That may be what the market. The Chargers probably overpaid for Herbert. 53 million a year is probably too much. So 45, maybe Green Rat probably has done his homework.
See, but the thing is I wouldn't be against that, but there's no way his agent is accepting that when Daniel Jones got 42 mil a year, and he was bottom of the barrel trash. So I really don't see them going for that. But hey, if they can make it happen, I'm down with it. I mean, hey, why not give him? Why not give him 50 a year? Why not give him 50 a year, 4-year extension, right? And Ross throw him a $20 million signing bonus that takes some of that number off the cap, and technically he'll get that 45 a year, but it won't all go against the cap.
But then again, it comes back to the fact: do we want to make that long-term commitment to Tua? Are we ready for that? Are the Dolphins? I don't know if the fan base is ready for that, but I think maybe Dolphins upper management may be ready for that.
And that's kind of the argument we've had. Is I agree. I think that most of the fan base is still undecided. At the same time, we've had the conversation we had a couple weeks ago. If you think, whether it was people who had Jimmy Garoppolo or Kirk Cousins, like, these guys are average at best, and yet they're getting high dollar contracts. Why? Because finding an elite quarterback, or even a very good quarterback, which again, I don't put Tua in the elite category yet. No. I think he's a very good quarterback. He's way above average. He's in the tier right below elite.
Right.
Finding those kind of quarterbacks is not easy. I mean, let's talk about fucking how many the Browns. How many times did the Browns fuck it up? And then, what is going on?
Dog fan to the building. Thank you so much for coming on. What's happening?
Of course, you asked. I shall appear.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. Now, I'm a big fan of yours. We follow. We follow all the shows, and when we see you on Twitter and everything. So thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
No problem. I haven't been on a podcast in a while because life has been busy. So I appreciate it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, let's give you the floor. We've been arguing a little bit about debating the worth of Tua and the possible contract extension. Now, let's get to the original question of, are you willing or think it's a good idea to sign him now, knowing that would give us flexibility this offseason to try to re-sign some of the other guys? Or are you in the, I'm not ready to extend him quite yet?
I'm not ready to extend him quite yet. I think he needs to prove himself another season, and he needs to win a flipping playoff game. Scoring 7 points against the Chiefs is not worth upwards of $50 million a year, in my opinion. I'm glad he stayed healthy this year. I'm glad he broke records. He had big numbers, but at the end of the day, the actual results we needed were not there. We needed to at least win a playoff game, and that's bare minimum for me. So even though it would help cap space, I just can't. I can't do it.
You can't pull the trigger on that $50 million long-term contract.
No,
that's what I was saying. It's going to be hard for us to accept a long-term deal right now with him.
And how many of his stats were padded from that Broncos and those first 5 games? Because he sure as hell didn't play like that in the second half of the season. Our entire offense basically fell flat.
I think that was our problem at the end of the year. I don't know if I blame that on Tua so much. I mean, I said it before. I thought McDaniel kind of ran out of talent with that big ass play sheet he's got. I think he kept trying to come up with plays and was kind of like he didn't really have a whole lot at the end of the year. I don't know. It's a chicken or egg type of thing.
I think it's both. I think McDaniel tries to get too fancy, and sometimes he forgets basic fundamental football. Run the ground game and just do some stuff. We don't need to have 85,000 motions before the snap. Like, let's just play fundamental football. And I think he gets into his head too much too. So it was.
I agree.
I'm not putting it all
That's
on
kind
Joe.
of our.
If Patrick
Go ahead,
Mahomes
sorry.
was on our team, we would have been in the Super Bowl as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of our ongoing joke here. I'm an exercise physiologist, and I say it's sometimes people outsmart themselves, and it's Mike McDaniel going, well, they think I'm going to run the ball, so I'm going to throw the ball, but then they think that I'm going to throw the ball because they know I'm going to run the ball, so I'm going to run the ball, and then, oh, wait, and it's like, just run the freaking ball. We don't need all that. Just run the ball. And I agree, and absolutely, the beginning of the season definitely padded some of those stats, and absolutely there are games, especially at the end of the year, where he did not perform up to our expectations. And, I was just making the comment right before you came up. Some of the things that I had the issue with was people want to say the win-loss record and all this stuff, it's a team game. But then when we lose, they want to put the loss solely on Tua. And I understand that's part of the perception of being a quarterback. You get all the accolades or you get all the blame. It's one way or the other. There's no in between. But some of the things we talked about is as much as we love the free agency signings of Chris Greer and whatnot, the fact that the offensive line continues to be an issue, the health of that line, whether it was the signing of Teron Armstead, that's great. It's a great talent. But when the guy can't play but 6 or 7 games a year, that's not helping. And, when you have Lester Cotton and Robert Jones filling in at guard when Robert Hunt is injured, and Isaiah Wynn played 3 games before Isaiah Wynn gets injured, Connor Williams gets injured, and we're doing this whole, the thing with me was we heard when Butch Berry came in, he sat there and said, we're not going to do this musical chairs stuff that the previous coaching staffs have done. And yet, what did we end up having to do? The same thing all over again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's short-sighted to only blame one person on the downfall of our team. And I know that,
right.
It was hard. I mean, I blamed Fangio. I mean, I was on the I hate Fangio train for months.
Yeah.
That Titans loss wasn't Tua's fault. That was totally on our
right.
defense.
Yeah.
But I think that if you're going to pay a quarterback to be a high-paying top of the league quarterback, then he's got to perform consistently like the Patrick Mahomes, I hate him, but Josh Allen at least, keeps his team in it a bit. So, yeah, but I get it. I get it. It's a lot of money, and, people have their feelings, but I just can't pay him yet. But I don't blame it all on him. McDaniel, I've said for a long time, I don't think he should be calling plays. He can formulate them, make them up, but I think that he struggles to manage play calling in game. He kind of loses track of what it is, what's happening. You've seen him mic'd up, and he'll be like, wouldn't it be cool if we just threw for all 3? And you're sitting there like, you can't just be like, it'd be cool to do this. You're in the middle of a game.
Spot on. Exactly.
And that's something that we've talked about is, whether it was the issues with time management prior to the ending of the first half or the challenges situation. And it's like when you're trying to do 5 things at once and you're trying to get it, you're trying to, was this a fumble while you're trying to look at the screen and having to call the next play and think about situationally game management wise calling said play. You can't do all of it. And sometimes I think, again, that's one of those guru things where, and I hate to say it because I'm not comparing him to Adam Gase, but at the same time, he has some similar things with Adam Gase of, You have this control orientation of you want to be in control completely of the offense, which, okay, that's your specialty. But at the same time, you can't do it to the detriment of the rest of the team.
Right. Dolphin, do you think it comes down to experience maybe from McDaniel? I mean, the fact that we hired him first coach, he's got 2 years under his belt. You know what I mean?
I think it's growing pains, but I also think that it's the Shanahan tree that I want to take an axe to. If you saw the Super Bowl, it was like watching.
God.
A lot of the mistakes, abandoning the run, a lot of those things.
Yeah, we've heard that. We've heard that
Yeah,
before.
we had that joke the Monday after the game. I said, "Oh wait, clock mismanagement. Oh,
Yeah.
situational play calling. Oh, abandoning the run game. Where have we heard that before?"
I call him McShanahan now.
Yeah.
We might have to steal that one from you.
Shanahan.
Nick Shanahan, go ahead and steal it because I'm watching the Super Bowl and I'm like, are the Dolphins here?
Wow.
But I do think it's growing pains. I think McDaniel needs to find his identity as a head coach and stop trying to be mini Shanahan. I think that he tries to mimic the Niners a little too much. And yeah, they've gotten close to the Super Bowl, but they haven't won. That should be a problem right there. They haven't won. I think he needs to grow and kind of find his own identity and learn his limitations. And that comes with experience. But I would hate for him to get his growing pains with the Dolphins, leave, and
exactly.
And go to another team. That's what's probably going to happen.
And that's why we were so frustrated is like we were loving the Fangio hire and the fact that, again, it was somebody that could take some of that burden off of Mike McDaniel. Yes, he has former head coaching experience. He can handle the defense. But then obviously we know how that went. That went south quickly. But now this Anthony Weaver comes in. He's got the same mantra, the same ideology. You know, his son of a bitch. I forgot it now. Oh God, what was it? No, the adversity gives you gifts. Sorry, adversity gives you gifts, and I'm like, is this Mike McDaniel's little brother? Like, what are we doing here? Because it's like, and then they ask him, opportunity or adversity is an opportunity. Have you ever heard that? No, I haven't heard that one. Yeah, that's bullshit. We know you've heard that one before. Stop that. And
I mean, Dolphin, don't you think that kind of puts us as Dolphins fans in a tough spot? You know, like you just said, next year we could be trying to run him out of the building, and in the future I think he's going to be a good coach. You know, I think he is a good coach, but we hired him off the jump, like you said. He's getting his experience with us. You know, do we really want to let him go, or should we keep him?
I don't hate him, and I think same with Tua. Let's give them another year, see where they go from there.
Right.
Maybe now with Weaver, I like Weaver. I heard his press conference. I like
Weaver too.
I like the ideology of his defense and that he wants to have it versatile and flexible, and he's not just going to lock in like Fangio and say, "This is what I run. This is it." He wants it to be adaptable.
Right.
So. Maybe now that we're bringing in some new guys, some fresh meat,
Well, that's what I mean. I'm cool with the staff we have. I'm talking about down the road, like after next year. We have no clue what's going to happen.
Give them another year, but that's the problem is that we're in such a win now culture. Immediate Super Bowl. But if you have a young, inexperienced coach, it's going to be a rough couple of years. Like you have to realistically realize that he's figuring it out. He's learning. Who is his identity and how can he run a team?
But we have a team that's built to win right now.
Well, that's
question.
That's how we feel, right?
And it is, but the thing is we've talked about it so many times is Ross's propensity to stick to the 3-year plan. And we saw it with Adam Gase. The only exception in the last 5 head coaches was Philbin, who got 3 years and 4 games, but essentially it's 3 years, prove it or you're gone. And I'm sorry, but there's no way you throw McDaniel out the door after 3 years. And again, the point I was trying to make about the Weaver thing was, and I agree with you, I love Weaver and the fact that we had either Josh Boyer and Brian Flores, who were the no-nonsense bullshit kind of guys. Then you come into Vic Fangio, who has way more experience, but he's still stuck in that, I have a way of doing things. You're not going to tell me to change it. So be it. Well, now, when he comes out and he says his 2 influences are Romeo Crennel and John Harbaugh, he loves the Crennels, old school, stick to fundamentals, be physical, that old mentality, that old style mentality. But then he says, I also want to model myself after Harbaugh because of the way his presence is demanding of attention and respect. But at the same time, he's known as a player's coach. He can be hard, but he also takes criticism and feedback from players and staff members. So I really like that. It's almost like having the best of both worlds in Anthony Weaver.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I would hope that, again, with that marriage of ideology between McDaniel and Weaver, we should definitely see the players playing harder. And from my experience, I love what he said is, I can make a player want to play 10 times harder for themselves, not for me, but for themselves. And that's the key. Is I think a lot of coaches, especially the old school, is do it for the team, do it for the team. But you have to get them to understand not only are they doing it for the camaraderie of the team and the collective goal, but they're also doing it for themselves, because that you're not going to get any more ultimate motivator than self-preservation. And if you can get through to them and understand by you working hard, it benefits you and the team, not just stick team. Because after a while, that ideology gets trodden down and it gets old.
It's like he said, their careers are not very long in the NFL. They only have a few years to make that money. You know, that's why they have to maximize it. You can't blame them for any of that.
Green Rat's getting at us. He's going to take our Dolphins card if we don't tighten up about coach.
Hey, we're cool with McDaniel.
If I never hear adversity as opportunity again, it'll be Tuesday.
Hey, thank you. I loved it at the beginning, but man, it got so worn out that it's like, look, find another way to say the same thing. You just got to make it different.
The problem is that every press conference, he's like, yeah, I know I made mistakes. Got to fix it. Next game.
Yeah.
Exact
mistake.
I know.
Yeah, and that's frustrating too, and something that we were talking about when he interviewed with Greg Olson on Radio Row. And one of the things that really irritated me was we had Mike Gesicki here, and granted, look, we all know Mike Gesicki could not run good routes. He rounded everything off, and the guy could make one-handed catches in the open field, but when it comes to the end zone, it would doink off his face mask or everything else under the sun. But for him to say that the third year is really for him to start including the tight ends more schematically. And I got really frustrated with that. I'm like, but you should have been doing that since day one. Does that mean that you necessarily have 100 plays for the tight end? No, but you should still have a sub package of plays that utilizes the tight end in the seam, where, again, because you use the crossing routes, and another thing, like you said, the same thing over and over, Mike McDaniel loves Tyreek on a go route, Waddle on the post route, and whoever the third wide receiver is coming on the crosser underneath.
Running back out of the backfield.
Whatever. It's the same concept, though, of taking the two highs deep, creating the void in the middle, and trying to catch that crosser. Well, then defenses catch up to your game plan. They're like, oh, you're going to go to that crosser. We're going to drop our linebackers back to take away that crosser. Well, if you had a tight end running a streak right up the seam, it's wide open all day long. And I'm like,
I want a tight end. That's what I'm calling for in the draft. If we can get one, or at least,
and that's great. But if he can't figure out how to use him, then what the hell is the point of drafting one?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry, but there's no way that it takes you 3 years to then begin integrating the tight ends into your offense. I have an issue with that.
Dolphin, what are your thoughts about the tight end or the Dolphins tight end use?
From what I hear, they're really high on Julian Hill. So I would be shocked if they went tight end in anywhere.
Okay.
From what I hear, they really like Julian Hill. I was hoping that we would utilize Claypool in a tight end role because he was really honest. I think he was one of the biggest guys on the team. And his couple of drops didn't help, but I was really hoping that would be his role, is to just sit in the middle.
Too. Beef them up and get them in there.
Question with that, though, is how and I understand the drop thing with Claypool, but to my same extent, it's the same argument I made with Tua in that KC game, because we watched Mahomes throw 4 passes into the wind and it go absolutely everywhere until he can hone in on what he's doing. But if you only throw the ball twice a game to Claypool and expect him to make some spectacular circus catch in the end zone, I don't know if that's a fair assessment.
I expect him more when we're not in the red zone. When we're in the red zone, I want to see us run the ball.
Right. So you like Julian Hill? That's interesting. I'm taking notes. I got my yellow notepad. I take notes.
The rumors that I heard, I don't know how reliable anybody thinks I am, is that they're really high on Julian Hill.
I like that. I mean, I hope they are.
Smythe. I think Smythe is still. I don't think he's a free
CT. What are your thoughts on Julian Hill?
I love Julian Hill. He's got size and he's got the possession ability to be a possession guy. The thing is again, and this is not a knock on Julian Hill, because it's Mike McDaniel he's so enthralled with the running game and the utilization of tight ends in that aspect that it's almost like, are you going to use him? And it's the same thing with Smythe, because I love Smythe as well. Smythe is not Mike Gesicki. He's not a receiver, but the guy has good hands every time we throw the ball to him. Yeah. He catches it. The thing is when is Mike McDaniel going to start using him?
Yeah, I don't know.
She's like, I don't know. Nobody knows.
I mean,
right.
His play calling confused me, because he came out in September and it looked like we were unstoppable, and he had this crazy game plan.
It sure did.
All cylinders were going. We were getting downfield. It was like every time we had the ball, we were in the end zone. It was just nonstop.
Celebrations everywhere.
And then it just stopped. And part of it, I think, is that defenses caught on to the motion. They caught on to that. It really wasn't super creative. It was all about timing. They figured it out, that if they disrupted the timing, the whole machine kind of slowed down, and McDaniel wasn't able to come up with a second way
to adjust.
Again. He couldn't adjust.
And,
you're right.
And I could agree with that. But the thing that frustrated me more wasn't necessarily game-to-game adjustment. It was adjustment at halftime, where, again, we had runs that worked extremely well in the first half. And, again, at the end of the season, that stupid, what was it called? What do they call it? The counter pitch, where he'd fake one way and turn around and pitch it the other way. Yeah, and the first half ate it up in the first half. But then in the second half, they go, all right, I'm ready for that bullshit. And he runs it 3 or 4 times. It gets no yardage. And what does he do? He abandons the run game completely. And I'm like, why? Why? Okay, if they're going to be out on the edge getting set for that pitch, run it up the middle. If you got them going horizontally, run up the middle. This is not rocket science.
Dolphin, how much stock do you put into injuries late?
You'd be stupid to not say it played a factor.
Right.
And then people are going to say, well, we were decimated.
We were.
There was as soon as we lost Phillips and Chubb and Van
right.
I was like, we're not, even if we win this playoff game, we're not.
Right. By the time we made the playoffs.
As soon as we lost X, I also knew. I was like, no, we're done. We're fucking done. Eli Apple, god damn it.
We're done. Eli
Apple. But that was defense. But the shocking part is most of our injuries were on defense, and our defense still didn't
play pretty good. Decent, right?
Aside from Baltimore, they didn't actually play us terribly. Now, offensively, it seemed like as soon as we lost, I don't know, as soon as Terrell Armstead went out, but he was iffy too. But
I think that once Connor Williams went out, is when things on the offensive line went downhill real quick.
like the shocking thing to me is like, but we still had. I mean, we lost Tyreek for maybe like 2 games, and Mozart was out. But we always had at least 2 stars on our offense
right. Yeah, we kind of did.
Like we never didn't have anybody.
Right.
And when Tyreek was out, Waddle stepped the hell up.
He did.
Well, in that one game, but the second game we were missing Tyreek, Waddle had the ankle injury, and Waddle went out there and gave it his damnedest, but he was nowhere near ready to play.
Yeah, but then stepped in and carried that for us.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where I think that and I agree, and Green Rat and I, he's a regular on the show, MDC shit talker. But the offensive line, I think, limited a lot of things later on in the year. And I think that was something that when you don't trust guys, especially when Connor Williams was out, Robert Hunt was out, literally the only 2 starters you had there were Austin Jackson and Teron Armstead when he did come back in, but Armstead was nowhere near what he should have been. But given the interior pressure, we know Tua likes to step up into the pocket. And when you have Eichenberg, who can't snap to save his life, and he can't block either, at least Connor Williams can't snap either, but at least Connor Williams can block after he snaps. I think that puts a lot of pressure on Mike McDaniel to find shorter throws to get the ball out quickly because of that, knowing that interior cannot hold up. And that was something that really frustrated me because that's on Chris Greer. We've had this issue with this offensive line and offensive line injuries for 5-6 years now. And at some point it's got to be fixed, and it's got to be fixed correctly. I know maybe I'm an old school guy, but it starts in the trenches. You can plug and play even if Tua's not the guy. If you go and fix the offensive line and you have the weapons and you want to go out and sign a veteran to just plug and play, that's fine and dandy. But I don't give a shit if you have Aaron Rodgers back there and that offensive line is in front of him. You're not doing anything. And I think that's when, again, in that first half of the year, once we lost Connor and Isaiah Wynn was out 2 weeks before that, then Robert Hunt was injured and we missed him for 4 games. He came back. He played half of 1 game. Then we missed him for another 4 games. That's when everything went downhill as far as the O-line play.
Yeah.
I agree.
O-line.
We had, what was it? We had like in the teens of O-line adjustments and starting lineups. I think it was like,
yeah.
It was like ridiculous.
Exactly.
That's why I fight people on Twitter all the time. I want our first 2 picks to be offensive line. I
was about to ask you that.
Oh, you're going to get some pushback on that, young lady.
No,
I was about to ask you.
I want Jackson Powers, and I want
him.
He's projected to be taken ahead of us by the Seahawks.
Yeah. His stock is trending up for sure.
Well, I'm pretty high on him right now. But yeah, I am too. I want our first 2 picks to be offensive line. I will accept a versatile linebacker.
Oh, see, now she's on my wavelength. Mine is center and linebacker. Mine are center and linebacker.
That can cover receivers because we don't have one, and I will fight anybody on that. We do not have one.
We don't. Jerome Baker sucks. Even when we had him, look. Jerome Baker could play in the flats, but once 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, forget it. It's done. It's over. Nah.
I need a versatile guy to sit in the middle of the field, to be able to drop back, get up and pressure the quarterback if needed, to be all over. I need a versatile, young, athletic, big guy. So, yes, I am big on offensive line and versatile linebacker. Those are my.
I love it. 1 and 2.
That's a great. I think that, again, the only pushback I have on that, and because I'm all in, I want a center. I'm sorry, but Eichenberg, as much as Green Rat says horse shit, that Liam's a Hall of Fame snapper, you can keep saying that all you'd like. He's a trash snapper, and that's what it is. But here comes in the history of Chris Greer and his ability to not only scout, but make the correct decisions. I mean, we passed up Tristan Wirfs. We passed up Penei Sewell. Granted, yes, we got Waddle. I love that. That I'm not, but people want to pat Greer on the back for picks that are picks. Does that make sense? Oh, but he drafted Waddle. Oh, he drafted this guy. And it's like, yeah, well, duh. I would hope that with the number 6 pick, you would pick a stud. Because if you did it again, like when we, what was his name? The linebacker, we picked number 2, and he couldn't stop smoking weed like Ricky Williams, and he kept getting suspended. That was a waste of a 2nd overall pick. Then we get Liam Eichenberg. We had Isaiah Zada. We've had Austin Jackson, which I'll give him credit. He's somewhat rounded into form, but he still has issues in the mental processing. When he does get beat, he panics and he holds, and that's just something that is very hard to coach out. Coaching out panic is extremely difficult. But physical-wise, he's done better. But, I mean, the picks on the offensive line have not turned out well for us. Robert Hunt is probably the best pick we've had since Laramie Tunsil. And Laramie Tunsil only fell to us because of the gas mask thing.
True. What's up, Steve? Everybody shout out Steve Malloy. Liam belongs in the XFL. Dolphin.
Steve loves Liam Eichenberg. Loves him.
Talk to us about what you do. Don't you have a podcast with Steve? Don't y'all work together and stuff, or what?
Not with Steve. I have one with Rob on Dolphins Thirsty.
Dolphins
Thirsty and Steve have a podcast. Me and Steve do pregame shows over during the season. We were doing some pregame shows.
Okay.
I love Steve.
Sweet.
And then I'm on Phins Talk Sports Network. I do a Miami Heat show with them.
Okay. There you go.
CT's a huge
go check
Miami
her out.
Heat fan.
Go. That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, everybody go check her out. All of her stuff is on point, man. And obviously she knows her stuff, as she's shown tonight. And check her out on Twitter too.
Damn.
I'm in off-season mode on Twitter, so don't expect a lot of Dolphins analysis right now.
Your stuff.
We got a lot of feedback from you driving, MC. You got to figure that out,
driving.
brother.
I got a question for you, though. I do got a question.
Go ahead.
Who is number 2 that said you said earlier that was smoking a lot of weed?
What was his name now? Oh, my God. I cannot remember his name. Jordan? No.
Deion Jordan?
Deion Jordan, yes.
My pops was laughing at that. He with me down here, so we were having he visited.
He was the number 1 pick. That was like the worst pick ever.
He said
it was number 2. We didn't have the number 1. We picked him at number 2.
That's right.
DT, you heard me?
Yeah, I heard you, man. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you're out hanging out with the pops, man. And Josue over here since he can't hop in because he's watching The Bachelor. Of course he is. So, yeah, man.
What?
He's watching The Bachelor, but it's all good. Hey, to each their own, man. So I want to get into the next thing real quick. We've been talking about Anthony Weaver coming in, and we did know that we filled out the rest of our staff, quote unquote, unofficially, but officially. I want to know your thoughts on bringing in the former Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator on the defensive side of the ball. We also brought in the outside linebackers coach from Detroit. And we're keeping Ryan Slovic, who used to be our outside linebackers coach, and he's going to now be working with the secondary. What do you think about the way that Anthony Weaver is building his staff?
I really don't have any comment on it right now, only because I have a couple of Packer fans that follow me on X, we're mutuals, and they didn't love him. Obviously, as a coordinator, they were very didn't have very nice things to say. But him coming in and being, I think he's with the linebacker, it's hard to judge when he was all of it into something small now. I sometimes people aren't built to be a coordinator, but they can still be a great position coach.
Exactly.
So I don't know enough about him as a position at that position to really. So yeah, he wasn't a great defensive coordinator, but he could come down and kill it as a position coach.
Yeah.
So I like that he's going out and getting the guys that he wants, building the staff that he wants, instead of just coming in and being told what to do. I think that's a good sign. I think
good credentials. You know,
yeah,
he was a DC.
Most of them are, experienced. There's a couple of them were former players, which I think is great.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that I can't understand is our flipping special teams.
She finally got to it. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let him have it, because then I'm going to let him have it too. Go for it.
I hate Crossman. The only way that he still has a job is that he is blackmail. Definitely on Ross, probably Greer, because nothing makes sense. Our special teams is horrendous.
Blackmail.
It is. It's atrocious. I hated Braxton. The fact that you judge your return man on the fact that he didn't drop the ball shows that your bar is in hell, because that's. I mean, special teams. You watch the Super Bowl could affect everything. It give you good field position. Devin Hester just made it to the Hall of Fame for his role on special teams and everything that he could do to get the Bears in. And we can maybe get 5.5 yards with Braxton Berrios, and you're going to still let our special teams coordinator stay when that was your weakest unit. The Bills came back and flipping ran in for a touchdown right after the half.
Yep. And I want to get into this. So I brought up this stat, and when I heard it, I thought it was absolute horseshit. So I had to go research it for myself. So in the final 6 games of our season, we had 7 kick return and or punt returns that were inside of the opponent's 10-yard line or touchdowns. 7 in 6 games. Then we talk about Jason Sanders' struggles last year. Now he did have a rough start to this year. He did get that second kick in, I believe, what game was it? It was a couple games after the Broncos game, and he kind of got his stride back, which was great for us. However, your punt coverage and your kick coverage is atrocious. Last year, you had an issue with punt or place kicking, and then let's get to the punter. Let's get to this freaking punter. Now, you go and get rid of a top 10 punter who goes on to his next team and balls out. And then you bring in an old guy who can't even punt his average was a 45-yard punt average. That's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. When you had a dude that was banging 60-yard punts. It's just, I agree with you. I don't know if they're in black and white or there's surveillance footage or what it is, but it's got to be something super good, because grainy photos ain't enough. It's got to be something pretty damn good.
We just hired a guy today on special teams. Y'all heard about that? Dolphin?
The assistant, an assistant special team coach. But
assistant, yeah.
After we fired the last assistant. The assistant
exactly. Exactly. It's like, let's throw out the scapegoat and let's hire the new scapegoat. So when he sucks this year, we can fire that assistant too.
I don't know what we're doing over there, but nobody could be sober. They're being blackmailed. Someone's drunk. I don't know, but I hate Crossman. I hate that we don't seem to value what a strong special teams unit can do for your team, especially
winning games.
Especially when we've been struggling offensively. There's a difference between getting the ball at your own 40 and maybe getting it at their 40.
Yeah,
there's a difference. Returning it 5 yards, returning it 30 yards, 99 yards for a punt return.
Preach.
What I couldn't understand.
That's points that you're blocking a kick.
Hey, I said that.
Not only, hold on real quick, Bleezy, but the thing that pissed me off even more is knowing that you put yourself in a position to win games again and give up touchdown returns and whatnot. just kick the freaking ball out of bounds. Just kick the freaking ball out of bounds. How fucking hard is that? Just kick it out of bounds. Just please. I don't get it. It's the decision-making process in that unit. I mean, look, we all had shit with Jakeem Grant. He couldn't catch the ball when it came to catching passes. But the dude on punt returns and kick returns could do something.
Yeah.
The fact that I miss Jakeem Grant says everything that needs to be said at this point.
That speaks volumes.
I have a Jakeem Grant jersey.
Hey, shout out to Jakeem Grant. Who thought we'd be saying that about right now? Shout out to Jakeem Grant. But you're right. I've said that before. The recipe to winning the Super Bowl is special teams and turnovers.
Yeah.
If you could handle that, and if you could dominate special teams, turnovers, and then all the obvious quarterback, defense and all that, but special teams and turnovers, that'll get you in the Super Bowl. I mean, that'll get you deep.
What frustrates me though is, and it's a great point, and we brought it up, and maybe Dahl has seen it as well. We've had the conversations on this show about why is it that the offense will have one hell of a game and the defense will suck, or the defense will have one hell of a game and the offense will have one hell of a game, but the special teams will suck. And then the next freaking game, it's like we cannot get all three phases of the game to play well in the same game.
I think part of it was continuity. I think McDaniel took over the offense, and I really don't think he had much, if any, input over Fangio's defense. I think he came in, got Fangio. He has 30 years experience. He knows what he's doing, and I think McDaniel was hands off completely.
I agree. Now
Fangio was asleep up in the box because he never made a goddamn change. And the special teams Crossman is over there just giving Breer the eyes, like, don't forget what I have on you. And nothing was working.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that maybe bringing in Weaver, he already said he's going to be on the field. He needs to feel the pulse.
I like that.
McDaniel hopefully will realize, shit, maybe I need to be a head coach and not an offensive coordinator and actually manage all of the units of this team and not just the offense. And maybe continuity can start to begin.
Hell yeah.
That's my only hope.
There you go. And hey, for you guys, I understand that. Yes, Grant did fumble quite a bit. However, at the same time, and I agree with that, I'd rather take a fumble every 2 or 3 games versus absolutely nothing in the return game. So you got to get it has its pros and cons, but at the same time, I agree with you. The point of Vic Fangio, and I think where Green Rat, our shit talker, he calls him Little Dick Fangio now. And the thing is what really got me was everybody bitched about when Josh Boyer in, I believe it was the Bills game, the second time around in his first year, when they were on the 35 and it was a 3rd and 18, and he dropped everybody back to the goal line. And we're like, what the hell is that? Well, when Vic Fangio did the same exact thing, and I believe it wasn't the Tennessee game, it was the game before Tennessee, he did the exact same thing. And then when he lost the Tennessee game by literally just playing off coverage, 15, 20-yard cushions, I was like, you know what? Fucking done with this. This is ridiculous. It's Josh Boyer all over again. You're supposed to be this experienced guru, and you're making the same idiotic mistakes that a defensive coordinator in Josh Boyer, who didn't even own the defense, he just did what Flo told him to do. And now you're supposedly an 80-year-old vet, and you're making the same stupid mistakes.
I think she's spot on. I mean, you can see the players. Dolphin, right after they interviewed Ramsey when they were asking him about Shadow and CD Lamb. Remember that? And he was kind of like, well, the coach has wanted me doing this and that, And
Fangio was a genius 30 years ago. And he got told he was a genius. and he never changed his game plan. He ran the same scheme. He was set in his ways, and he
I
came
think you're
in.
spot on. I think that's exactly.
I don't like the players that I inherited. I didn't draft any of these guys. Free Cam Smith. I started that because what he did to Cam Smith was absolutely disgusting.
Oh, no, you did not start that. I am actually a South Carolina Gamecock alumni.
Go back to the first hashtag Free Cam Smith because I was
okay. You hashtagged it. I don't do X or any of that. But I'm actually a Gamecock alumni. I told everybody from day one, you got to go back when we drafted him. I said, it's fucking on. Why? Cam Smith is he's the prototype replacement for X. He's got the body, he's got the ball skills, he has the physicality, and I don't know. Look, we've heard the rumors. It's Fangio didn't like him because he came in on time and left on time. Well, so do 90% of the other players on the team. So that doesn't make sense.
I don't know what happened. I think that Cam Smith, they say that he had some struggles with learning the scheme, and his problem is that he has raw, natural talent. He knows where that ball is going to be, and sometimes he doesn't play the scheme. He kind of plays his instincts, but that's a coachable thing. That is a raw talent that you don't want to get rid of. But to sit here and in a press conference and tell me that Eli Apple deserves the start over him, I am Eli Apple. I hate Eli Apple with everything in my body. I would lock him in a room and forget about him for 8 years. I hate Eli Apple, and that I hated Vic Fangio for it, and there was no way that you could tell me. I like to say Eli Apple couldn't cover his toast with bread.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And I think I've seen some of your tweets about Eli Apple.
We do too.
Yeah, we do too.
Cam Smith's supporter, and I am Eli Apple's #1 hater.
Yeah, we're down with that.
But I think it just came down to being old, grumpy, set in your ways. And his thing was, I'm not going to make adjustments because it'll eventually work out. It'll eventually get there. We'll figure it out. My scheme will eventually work, and that's kind of how he does it. You need a coach that's in there saying, okay, this isn't working. Let's try this. Let's try this. Like you need an adaptable coach. Yeah, Steve knows. I go in on Eli pretty hard, and he deserves it. Right? When
Josue says Eli Apple couldn't hit the water if he fell off a boat.
Do you remember the game? He caught the interception, and he tried to run out the end zone with it, and he almost effed us by getting down at like the 1 yard line.
Yeah, he did. Which is, bro, just stay in the end zone. It's like you're supposedly a veteran player, and you can't even understand situational football. Yeah, I agree. And the other thing that I had you've probably heard the rumors too. And we'll get back on the Cam Smith thing because Xavier Howard, Ramsey, and Nick Needham were supposedly pounding the table for Cam Smith to get that start over Eli Apple. And Vic Fangio said, don't piss on my cornflakes. I know what I'm doing. How far did that set back? And here's the duality of the question. I get it to a degree if the thought process was related to let's not throw him out there too early like we did Noah, because Noah was supposedly this great cornerback too, and then shit the bed when we threw him in too early. Yeah. I can understand that argument. But when veteran players like Ramsey, X, and Nick Needham are saying he needs to start, that's when I have an issue with that. So what do you think about that?
I hate Vic Fangio. And if you go on the Dolphins website, like the official team website, Cam Smith is listed higher on the depth chart than Eli Apple. Cam Smith is the #2 behind Xavier Howard, and Eli Apple is actually listed as 3rd, I think, behind Ramsey. So it's interesting that the depth chart even says that it should have been Cam Smith when X went out. Instead, they bumped up somebody lower on the depth chart. I always found that a little interesting. I think it came down to the fact that Cam Smith is more of a man corner. He does better in a man system. Vic really loves a soft zone that I hate. But X also excels better in a man coverage. He has the raw talent. I don't think Noah had the same raw talent and instincts that Cam Smith has. And I'm all for not throwing him out there, but Ramsey went out and then, X goes out. And at some point, you have to put the rookie in. He was on scout team in practice. He wasn't even practicing with the main guys. So if your whole thought process is, no, I don't want to throw him in too soon because I want to develop him. Well, from what I heard, he wasn't even developing in practice. He was out in scout team, not even getting looks with your main team. So if he's really somebody that you're saying you want to build up and do that, he should be getting some major reps in, with the first team, even the second team in your practices, but he wasn't. It was almost like Vic dicked around with us for the whole offseason last year. Will he sign? Will he not? The Eagles ended up going a different way. So then he signs with us. He missed the draft. He missed free agency. And I think he was pissed that Greer turned around and got Cam Smith without consulting him. And I think that he was just stubborn and decided, well, you know what? I'm not going to be here long term. I'm not developing a young guy. I'll take the veteran and screw you.
Yeah.
And I can agree with that. But my thing is and this is where I still can't comprehend or get it through my head. We saw in off-season practices last year, Cam Smith balling. I mean, we saw deflection after deflection. We saw he intercepted Tua twice in the same practice. Yeah. And then the off-season's over, and then nothing. So, I look, was Cam Smith like fucking his daughter or something? I don't know. Like, what was going on? Because literally, he was balling in camp. He was balling in the off-season. And then I'm just saying, once the regular season came around, nothing. It makes no sense. Now, I will say this on your point. Yes, he is much better in man because of his instincts. However, South Carolina, they changed their defensive coordinator 3 times in his 3 years there. And he did in his first year play zone, and he did pretty damn well. His thing is when they did that, they played press man coverage, or they played press coverage that allowed him to drop into zone, that allowed him to still use his instincts. And if you have that type of thing, he can play the zone and the man, but I agree. He's much better in man where he can be more physical and more aggressive, but he can play zone if in the right situation. Now, is he going to play zero?
That was an excuse that Vic used. I think that was part, like, it was a personal vendetta 100%. But yeah. I think that we all know he could play either one. But I think Vic, like, no, he's more of a man guy. He's not.
He came up with that BS. He found a reason.
Yeah, that was a Vic. That was Vic bullshit. It's
going to be real interesting to see what Weaver says about Cam Smith. Yeah.
We gonna find out, and I'm excited. Hashtag free. What was it? Hashtag free Cam Smith. Let's go.
Yeah, I would tag him in it too. He liked one of my posts where I tagged him in it. I was
nice.
That is awesome. I have to get on the X thing. I don't do it.
So much fun because it's the best app to interact with people. Like Instagram, all that. Like you can't have little conversations. They joke that I talk too much, but if you comment on any of my things, I'll go into a 25-minute tangent with you just back and forth. I love.
That's where it's at. Interactive.
This is the female version of CT. I get told all the time on this show that I talk too much. And my thing is, I've got 5 kids. I got a full-time career. And so I'm not really into all this younger stuff. I'm not going to say I'm an older guy because Bleezy's much older than me. No offense, Bleezy. Love you. But it's just not my thing. I come on the YouTube. I do it for the fun of talking Dolphins and all that. But the interaction there, and again, we have a lot of supporters here. We had a 1,400 subscriber channel like 6 months ago. YouTube screwed us over. We're still in the process of trying to get that one back. Hashtag fuck YouTube. But we're trying to do all that. The thing is I've heard that it's become so toxic on X that people have gone to almost reverted back to going back to YouTube because of the toxicity there.
Well, see, that's what Dolphin. But check this out. I've been on Twitter since 2009.
Yeah.
That's when I got on there. I got on there like almost when it first broke.
Yeah.
You know, and then it got bigger and bigger. But I got on there for the sports and for the jokes. You know, there was no drama on there. You know, it was chill.
I live in Philly. Everybody knows I live in Philly. So I joined it so that I could tweet out. I tweet out during the games, like live.
Yeah.
Just to interact with other Dolphin fans because I don't have any here. I watch the games.
Doing that too.
So that's what I joined was because I don't know where the drama is on Twitter. I'm not part of it. And I always miss.
That's good.
I always miss the drama.
I do too.
I think if you just like stay in I call it Delulu land. If you just hang out in Delulu land like me, like
you're good.
You miss the drama. I don't know.
You're good. Yeah.
That's where again, my thing is I have the personality, and Bleezy knows this, and the people who know me in my professional life. I don't deal with stupid people well. I just don't, and unfortunately, that's kind of one of my negatives. I have to play nice at work, and I'm going to talk to this, mother of an athlete and try to be nice, or management or whatever. I don't deal with stupid people well. And I think that that's really kind of where I'm like, look, I'm not trying to get into it. I like to have intellectual conversation. I'm all for the banter. I'm all for giving each other crap. That's part of it. But from everybody, I mean, literally, like you said, if you can avoid the drama, hey, I am totally up for it. I will create a Twitter or an X, and we're gonna go shout out Doll fan over here.
Yeah,
and we're gonna
Doll fan, we are now officially a huge fan.
Let's go,
Doll fan. I've always been a fan. We're now officially a huge fan of yours.
Hell yeah!
We're gonna promote all of your content.
Well, I'm fans of yours, so I'll promote you too.
We appreciate that. Mutual.
Definitely. Irvin in the building. What is going on, Spidey?
What's up, bro? What's going on? Hey,
What's
Miss
up?
Dolphin. How you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
All right. Good. I'm good.
Picking up a Dolphin tonight.
What's good, Bleezy? What's good,
What's
homie?
up, bro? What up,
Chilling,
though?
bro. Chilling, bro.
Yes,
Chilling, dude.
We got Dolphin in the building, man. We're blessed.
Hey, what's up? We're blessed today. Yes,
you know my logo
Blessed
is just
night.
drop a link. So drop a link
Yep.
on here. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's real.
We're gonna have Dolphin coming out here and putting y'all in your places when you come up here with that whack shit. We're not coming out here listening to that nonsense.
There is no Xavier Howard slander allowed anywhere near me. I will fight a bitch.
She gonna be mad at me. She gonna be mad at me.
On the
She's
screen
gonna
right
be
now.
mad at me. I gotta keep my mouth shut on it. Zip
What's
shut.
this about,
Ready?
Spidey?
Tell everybody this. This is my bed.
It's just
That
back
is a
and forth,
photograph
man.
of
That's all.
Xavier
Between me and
Howard
King.
and Tyreek Hill when he was a Chief.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Hey, in the house, shout out to Batman. I got a Xavier Howard signed 9x12 poster or thing in there. I love X. It just comes down to this, and as much as I love X, once you start getting, as a physiologist, once you start getting to the point of no return, X is at the point of no return. The growing injuries over the last 3 years, the growing injuries are extremely hard to deal with. They're something that you have to spend a lot of time rehabbing, or they will reoccur frequently. And this is something, and everyone up here on this panel will tell you, I do not like the Dolphins medical training staff. I think they're a fucking joke. The reoccurring soft tissue injuries we have with multiple players, the offseason program obviously doesn't entail anything in preventative measures. And it's something that I myself, in my professional capacity, hey, Dolphins, I'll put my application in, because I can make sure that Xavier Howard goes through an offseason where we ain't going to have no growing injuries. I'm out there. But Xavier Howard, he with those injuries, if he continues to have this growing injury, it does make him lose his step. We know X's game. X's game is I'm going to bait you, then I'm going to explode, and I'm going to make that interception. And when you have a growing injury, it is extremely difficult to do that. And I'm sorry, but that's on the Miami Dolphins training staff. And that is also, and I'm not pointing the finger at X, but I am kind of pointing, if the Dolphins training staff isn't getting it done for you, you need to find somebody privately to do it for you.
CT, you're about to piss off Dolphin.
I said I wanted to keep my mouth shut, but she can't argue. She knows what I'm saying is fact. It's not
No,
X.
hey,
X is not
Go
the
ahead,
problem.
Dolphin. What do you think about
Getting
that?
that Deshaun Elliott walked onto the field and then in pregame warmups and had to go back to the tunnel because he like pulled something.
Yep. And let me go after this. If you want to go that, how do we have, if you want me to start on this, but give me 2 minutes, please, and then cut me off. So let's go ahead and talk about Byron Jones. Okay. Let's talk about Byron Jones that should have had a rehab of about 6 to 8 months. Why did it take Byron Jones 18 months to then post a picture online saying that he was healthy, but yet you couldn't play? So number one, that don't have shit to do with that. Then let's talk about who was the guy we had before with the finger injury, the wide receiver. So a broken finger, any type of even if it's a severe broken finger, you have nerve issues, you have other complications. It does not take 8 months to heal from a broken finger. Sorry, not happening. So let's talk about Xavier Howard's reoccurring growing injury issue. Let's talk about the fact that we've had 3 individuals this year with an Achilles tear. Last year, we had Nick Needham with the Achilles tear, Brandon Jones with the Achilles tear. Who in the fuck is setting up pregame warm-ups, pregame stretching, off-season detailed information to say, hey, you're more susceptible to these types of injuries. Let's set up a regimen that can be preventative in nature so that down the road you're not having issues. So again, I digress, cut me off, but yes, the medicals,
You're cut off.
The Dolphins medical training staff is shit. I get it. You have professional affiliations. Before that, it was Nova Southeastern. We had Nova Southeastern doctors.
All right,
they were
we
shit.
know. Okay.
Anyway, I'm done.
Any rebuttal to that? Any rebuttal?
I agree. The training staff is shit, and the injuries were.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that.
I completely agree. I've been questioning, like, who's our staff and why? What are we doing to change it? I disagree on Xavier Howard. I think he's the man. He will always be the man. And if you don't agree with me, you can.
She's down with X. She's down with him. She's not.
Oh, that's fine. Hey, I think
emotional.
I think that the training staff is doing X a disservice. And X needs to understand as an older guy, and that's not meant out of disrespect, but he is an older veteran. If the Dolphins staff cannot promote your healing and put you in a position to play 17, if not 21 games, because we want to get to that Super Bowl, you got to find somebody else who can do it for you.
Well, I will let you in on a little secret. Xavier Howard is my emotional.
Yeah.
So no amount of logic that will ever be thrown at me will ever.
He could be 40 years old and you're going to be cheering for him.
The Miami Heat, just so y'all know, my emotional pick is Duncan Robinson. Nothing anybody says about Duncan Robinson will be allowed near me if it's slander. So yeah, they're my emotional picks where I laugh at anybody who tries to come up with logic because I'm not fucking listening.
All right, hey, I thought you were going to go UD. Udonis Haslam's my boy.
I love UD, but Duncan is, first of all, he's underrated and he's absolutely killing it. He should have been in a 3-point contest, 100%.
Yeah, but they always want to what's the word? Damn it.
That also
Snuff. They want to snuff Miami Heat players. It's the same thing going back all the way back in the day. Dan Marley got snuffed for the 3-point contest back in the day too. I'm sorry, but Dan Marley was one of the best out there. You had him in his last season when he was way past his prime, but when he was killing it, you acted like he didn't exist. So I'm an old school. I grew up in Miami, Florida, so not there anymore. But yeah, I'm a huge Heat fan too. Man, I'm tired of the Dolphins and the Heat getting snuffed. It's time to start cracking heads and taking names.
Tomorrow is the first day of franchise tag, I think. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Utah Phins fan in the building too. What's going on, brother? Yeah.
What is the CT? Tomorrow's the first day that you can franchise tag a player.
Yep, it's the first time you can. It extends until, I believe, 3 days before free agency starts. Right. You have that 3-day quote-unquote tampering period.
Yeah.
Right when that tampering period starts is when your opportunity to franchise tag ends. So we already been over this. Christian Wilkins is gone. As much as I love Christian Wilkins, he's a leader of this team, but it's done.
Yeah, it's too much money, man. I don't see how we could pay him and Tua and everybody. I mean, the thing about it is, if we cut Christian, think how much money we save. I mean, we need that money.
We don't save shit. He's not under contract. We don't save anything. We are still $52 million because we're $52 million over the cap. We want to keep him because not only is he a great leader on that defense, but he's proved that.
I know why we want to keep. I'm talking money wise. You know, you're saying
we're going to keep him because of his production. We want to re-sign him because of his production.
But can we re-sign him because of the money? Is what I'm saying.
Well, we've had that conversation. Dog, what do you think about that, Irvin? We gonna get you in here too. I want to go around the room. I think that $52 million over the cap. I've gone on to Spotrac. I've gone on to multiple websites that do cap analysis. We can restructure and cut 11 different guys and make $40 million. Well, that's 40.
Okay. Dahl, do you keep Wilkins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would try to make it work.
I would too. And that's where my rumors, from what I've heard, is we are still communicating with Wilkins. It's not a dead train, from what I understand. Dahl, you could tell me if you've heard anything different. It's not a dead train, but Wilkins, his agent is pretty certain that even if they get a ridiculous offer from the Dolphins, they still want to test the market.
That's what I heard.
And so again, originally we offered him prior to this year, we offered him $17 million a year with incentives. They turned that down. If he thinks that he's getting 23 to 25 mil a year, I don't know how that makes sense unless, and just like the Tua'S situation, but Dahl don't like that. But it's okay. If we know Ross is willing to open up the checkbook, if Ross is willing to say, hey, we'll give you that 23 million a year you're looking for, Christian Wilkins, but I will throw in a $40 million signing bonus over that 23 to 25 over a 4-year deal to make it to where he's only counting 17, maybe 16 against the cap. We can do that. But
Dahl, do you franchise tag Wilkins? There's been talk about that.
There's been talk, but from what I heard is that we said, here's our final offer. This is
That's
as
it.
far as we're
Okay.
going. Go test free agency and see what you want to do. I don't think they're going to use it on him. There's other guys that we could be using it on. I think that they're daring him to go out to the free agency, see what's out there, and it's either going to pay off and he's going to realize that maybe he's not getting those $20-25 million offers, and he stays and he takes a lower cut, and then you said, Ross can throw in some bonuses and make that work to make him happy, or another team will offer him the money and he's gone.
And I'll take it.
Really think that it's a point where they're going to let him take a gamble.
I hope he stays.
I do too, but I think that, like I said,
East.
Go ahead.
Or somebody, if he goes anywhere else in the AFC East, I could see.
Oh, in the AFC, yeah. He needs to be in the NFC for sure.
Yeah. Get the hell
He'll
out
wreak
of
havoc on us in the AFC.
If we franchise tag him, there is no manipulation as far as signing bonuses and whatnot. And it's the same thing with the Tua'S situation. I agree. I understand everybody's perspective.
Yeah.
The only reason I even validate the Tua'S thing, just like Christian Wilkins with the re-signing, is you can try to make the numbers work, but just like I said, everybody talks about, it's just a cap. You can manipulate. Yeah, you can manipulate it, but you can only manipulate it so much. At some point, you have to pay the piper. You cannot just keep kicking the can down the road.
Right.
And
there's only so much money to go around,
Well, people want to argue because of the TV deals, it goes up about 20 to 30 million a year. Yeah, that 20 to 30 million a year in principle is great. But then when you have quarterbacks and other players who go, I used to make 20 million. Oh, you got an extra 30 million a year. I want 25 million a year. My 20 million isn't good enough anymore. So you can't spread that money out to build a better team when it's the star players that are like, screw you, the TV deals are going up. My agent says I should make more money. That's the issue that lies.
I know. And that's what I think when people talk about we have a window, I think that's what people are talking about. We do have a window with Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, maybe Wilkins. That's our window. When that little group breaks apart, I think that's when the window's over.
Hey, Green Rat in the building. He said Spidey with some crazy shit, but then Spidey hopped off. Irvin done hauled ass. What is going on, Green Rat?
Hey, Dolphin, you've been here for a long time. I want to give you the opportunity to bounce out if you want. You've been here a long time, and we really appreciate it.
It is past my bedtime.
Yeah, I hear you. No, it's all good.
We appreciate it as much.
Yeah, love
it. Me. I am going to get ready for bed, but thank you for having me. Let's do it again.
Thank you. We'll definitely do it again. We come on every Monday night at 8:30, so we'll keep, and then we come on other times too.
It just depends, family and all of our stuff, but we're always trying to come on at least 2 or 3 times a week, even in the off season. But we truly appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We're gonna promote all of your stuff. Believe me, we'll be there. We got your back. We got your back.
Like I said, we enjoy good.
Appreciate it.
We enjoy good people and good conversation, intellectual conversation, and that's what you bring to the table.
As you can see, she knows her stuff, man. She knows her stuff.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Well, I hope all of you have a good night. And nobody better talk smack about Xavier Howard when I leave.
As soon as she leaves, I'm trashing X.
Hashtag jailbait.
We know to stay away from X. Gotcha.
Hey, he said hashtag jailbait free Cam Smith. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. Bye, guys.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it.
It's awesome. Dolphin in the building, baby.
See now over here, Green Rat talking shit, and then Spidey comes back on. MC back in the building.
I've been back I just got home, motherfucker. What happened?
Oh shit!
Spidey lost his fucking Dolphin card permanently.
No. Nah, we got a Jets fan up in here, bro. I took your Dolphins card. You're
Shit.
officially a New York Jet
I'm
fan.
gonna send you your real avatar here in a little
probably
bit.
bought yourself an Aaron Rodgers jersey right now.
Oh shit.
Hey, shout out
Everybody
to
coming
Dolphin. My bad. I thought Spidey came on here twice. That's why I put him. My bad about that, Spidey.
No, you're good,
No,
bro.
it was Green Rat coming in fucking saying Spidey full of shit.
What'd you say? I didn't hear that part. What did you
Hey,
say?
but shout out to
He
Dolphin.
said, look at his
Shout out to Dolphin.
avatar. It says Spidey is batshit crazy.
Oh yeah.
I just saw
I'm
Spidey, and I
actually
was
not.
like,
You're a Jets fan. You took my Dolphin card. I'm gonna take your card. So it's only
There
fair.
you go. Tell him he could come back for it. Utah Phins fan. He said Dolly needs a date. Oh shit, we ain't getting any.
I'm sure she's got plenty of time.
Man, y'all hating on Dolphin. Man, what's wrong with y'all, man?
Believe me,
Let
I'm
her
sure
be,
she's
let her
got
be.
plenty of.
Let her be. Let her be. Come on.
Hey,
Utah
we
Phins
appreciate
fans,
her
hold
coming
on real
on.
quick. Yeah, we absolutely appreciate that. She's an amazing woman, very knowledgeable, great conversation. It was amazing for us. We'll be shouting her out. But yeah, Utah
Absolutely.
Phins fans, he said transition tag is the way to go to Wilkins, and I disagree.
You disagree?
I think you want my honest opinion about this situation.
Go ahead, Spidey.
Let me address. Hold on, real quick, Spidey. Let me.
I was gonna cook, but go ahead.
Fans, you're on the panel, so you can fucking say whatever you want to say, whatever. But Utah, there's no way, bro. We've used the transition tag for Charles Clay and multiple other guys. It doesn't make sense because if a team can offer him more money in the first year than we can, the transition tag only allows you to match the contract.
Right.
So if we
But it
cannot
allows
match
you to get
it, we
draft
get
pick
nothing for it.
compensation. We expect Wilkins gone, so that gets us a draft pick.
I don't know. It depends. It don't give us a draft. Well,
So CT,
it depends
so
on
CT.
we can have a compensation pick. We can get a compensation pick, but number one, that doesn't occur till next year. And number two, it depends on who we sign this year. Because if we go out and sign somebody else, then the compensation pick doesn't mean shit because we won't get one.
CT, so real quick, so if you use the non-exclusive, if you use the transition tag, does that mean that you like if a team? How do I explain this?
So the way the transition tag works is they make an offer to that player that you tagged. If you cannot match the tag, okay, say you say, all right, they're going to offer him $25 million a year, and they're also going to give him such and such guaranteed, and blah blah blah. If you cannot match that contract exactly to a T, not, oh, well, I can give you the same amount of money guaranteed, but I'm going to make it over different years. That doesn't matter.
Right.
You have to match the contract exactly. And if you match,
when it comes to annual salary, even when it comes to annual guaranteed salary,
every aspect of the contract, word for word, exactly. Okay. And if you don't, then he chooses to go there instead of back with you when you match the exact contract, is then when you get the transition tag. So if you transition tag him with a second round pick, if they offer him a contract, you offer him the same exact contract, but he takes the other team's contract, then you'll get a second round pick.
Right.
But if you don't get anything. You get zero.
That's not what I heard. I think we should look it up.
So what about the non-exclusive? So if you apply the non-exclusive franchise tag on him, what do the Dolphins receive in? Because I know if they, let's say for example, if the Dolphins if Christian Wilkins decides to sign with another team as an unrestricted free agent, the Dolphins just get a compensatory pick, right? It'd be like somewhere in the third or fourth round, right? And it can only be used next year.
It's a third or fourth round, but I believe
Like
it's a third round. It's a third round pick, I believe, because of his draft position where we drafted him.
So it would be a top 100 pick, right?
We would get a third round compensatory pick next year, not this year,
Right.
next year. But
Right.
that
So
also depends on, hold on, because it gets even more complicated. It depends on whether or not we sign any major free agents this year. So say we let Christian Wilkins sign, say, Madam Abuke or whatever his name is.
Matabuki, yeah.
If he's in the same realm of draft height, say he was both of them are in the same round, they'll say, well, you signed a guy to replace him. We're not giving you the compensatory pick.
Oh, wow. So if he signs Matabuki, another team's unrestricted free agent, that means that you don't get the compensatory pick? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Wow.
Which is why the Dolphins, but there's a time frame. So, and I don't know the exact date, but there's a date that they say, say you sign a guy after such and such date, he does not affect the compensatory pick, but you have to wait to sign them.
About June 1st. I think that's like June.
No, it's not. No, it's not June. No, it's way before June 1st. It's during free agency, and if I remember correctly, last year it was 2 weeks after free agency started. So essentially, what they do is they say, if you want that compensatory pick, you can't pick one of these high-profile guys and the top tier of free agency in that first 2 weeks. You have to wait until after that first round of the top tier guys going, then you can sign guys after that date.
See, you're going to the completely negative side of all of it. The fact is what if the other teams, the highest contract they can get is for $19 million a year? Then we can sign him for that exact contract, no matter what we've already offered him, and we get him. And for what I understand, we do get a pick no matter what if someone else signs him. But
what kind of
if they signed him and we didn't sign anybody else, hold on, I'm gonna bring, you know what, you guys talk, I'm gonna bring up the compensatory.
But here's the thing though, like, okay, so if you use the example of signing,
not the compensatory pick, find out exactly what the transition tag is, because I don't think it's I don't think it's that. I think it's an actual pick.
Mm-hmm. So if you use the example of
hold on, my bad, real quick, because I want to bring this up real quick. It says the NFL uses a formula based on salary, playing time, and postseason honors to determine which players are classified as CFAs. So the CFAs are free agents that are eligible for compensatory picks, which is why they're called CFAs, compensatory free agents.
I understand, but you're going to something that I don't think is exactly what you get if you put the transition tag on. We need to look at what the transition tag actually is and what it says.
Okay, and I will pull that up. If it does say
what you're saying, then I believe what you're saying. But I don't, from what I've heard from other people, that's not what it is. But I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember, I believe when I was on Big Phillies, we went over this. So a player receives the transition tag, is free to negotiate with any other team. The player receives a deal for the greater of a cap percentage average calculated as shown above, and I don't see the above, but it says you have to offer him at least a top 10 salary at his player position. Okay? Then it goes on to say, hold on. Hold on. It says, as opposed to the top 5 for the transition tag, it guarantees the original club the right to first refusal to match any offer the player might receive from another club. And it says this includes the Giant, for example, the Giants placed the non-exclusive franchise tag on Barkley, who rushed for a career high 1,300 with 10 touchdowns, and he was set to earn $10 million. Okay? So if they allow him and they tag him, which they did, it states specifically, the right to first refusal means in guaranteership that the exact terms of the offered contract must be met by the original club. If the exact terms of the contract are not agreed to by the original club, the transition tag designation does not allow for the compensation that is given in the tender of the tag. That is word for word from the NFL.
Well, it's about to go down tomorrow, as you can see on the banner.
But I'm just saying, it says
Repeat the last part of that.
It says the terms of the contract, offered contract, must be met in entirety, meaning they have to agree to every stipulation. So say if they offer him, say, $28 million in the first year, and then they bump it down to 25, then bump it down to 22. If they can pay him more in the first year, then we can afford to pay him. If we don't agree to the exact contract, the article states that if the exact contract and stipulations are not met, the tender in which means, it's a second round or third round, whatever they tender him at, you will not receive that compensation.
That's crazy. Makes sense, though. ACT, can you send that link, that article that you're reading? Can you send it or text it, whatever?
Hold on, yeah. History. Oh, no, I don't want to go history now because then it'll come off this. Hold on, let me go to a new tab.
Utah says then we get 2 first-round picks.
There's no way we're going to get 2 first-round picks or Christian Wilkins, bro. I would say that maybe the best we get, maybe it's like 2 second-round picks, I would say.
Nah, you can't transition tag for more than 1 pick. That's not how that works.
I'm saying
Wilkins, even I think Spidey, can we not get a first round pick?
You could technically franchise tag Christian Wilkins and still trade him, and maybe get multiple picks for him. Appreciate it, bro. Oh, he's gone.
Spidey, can we
So Spidey, in layman's terms, explain what he said, because what they're saying that didn't make any sense.
Bad. I put it in the private chat for
there he is.
What's up? Back it up.
I put it in the private chat for everybody. The link to that. You can read the exact rules on the train.
What he's saying is the contract language, basically the money, what's offered, if it doesn't match. If the numbers don't match what you're offering Christian Wilkins with the other respective team is offering Christian Wilkins, if that doesn't match, then the draft compensation that you tag Christian Wilkins that you put Christian Wilkins on, that other team, whatever they receive, even if he decides to take on that other contract, they don't receive the draft compensation because the transition tag explicitly states, like CT explained
It's
it,
called
that
the
if
right to first refusal. So again,
right,
the quote unquote, and this is from NFL.com. So the right to first refusal means that they will meet the exact stipulations of the contract, not only in its so again, you can offer him the same amount of money and whatever over the same years and whatever. None of that matters. It has to be exact. So if they're willing to pay him $28 million in his first year, you're going to pay, but you're going to say, hey, they're willing to pay you 28 in the first year, but we could pay you 28 years in the 28 million in the third year, because it does not match exactly the legal definition of the right to first refusal is I match exactly what they are offering you.
Right.
But how does that affect? We don't have to sign him, no matter what.
No, you don't. You don't. But then you have to rescind.
So why would that affect the
transition tag?
So let me ask you a question, CT. Does he have to? Okay, so
because the thing is hold on, Green Rat, real quick. The whole point, the pig thing is again,
what's up?
They
Steve?
have quote unquote the right to first refusal, meaning if they said, "Hey, we'll offer you the exact same contract."
Right,
he
but that
still has.
So
hold on.
If we're doing that, then we're not trading him, right?
Say it again.
If we're doing that, we're not trading him, so we wouldn't get a fucking pick.
Well, no, it's not
right
about
to the refusal.
It's not about trading him.
It's the next part about the pick. That's what doesn't make sense.
So let me explain. That's why I'm trying to explain it to you. So what happens is if you at the right to first refusal say, "Yep, we'll offer you the same exact contract," well, he as the player still has the right to choose. Okay, both of these teams offered me the same exact contract. If he decides to take the contract with a different team, then that other team has to give us the draft compensation we've tendered him with. That's where the draft pick comes into play, is if we both offer him the same exact contract and he decides to go elsewhere, then the team that is now employing him has to give us compensation because we were willing to match it, but he chose to go there anyway. So their responsibility is to give us compensation for the fact that we were willing to give him the same thing and he chose to go elsewhere.
Are you sure that's not part of the whole the price of the transition tag as a top 10 player versus top 5, and anything over that, then we get the pick? Because we'd keep him at top 10 money.
Yeah, no. So it doesn't matter about top 5, top 10, because the franchise tag is when you pay them. Okay, the first time you use the franchise tag, you have to pay them the average of the top 5 salaries.
Right, and I thought just a little bit ago you just said this one was the top 10.
Yes, the transition tag is.
Then that would be the price that anything over that we could match if we want to. But if we didn't match whatever, if it's more than what the transition tag was originally, then we should be able to keep the pick.
That I don't know. Now you're in.
That's the part. All this is so fucking crazy, anyhow.
It is, but like I said, I don't know that exact. from what I'm reading on the NFL is they don't mention anything about somebody offering him more than what that average of the top 10 is. They don't mention any of that. I think they're like simplistically explaining if you offer the same two contracts, he has the right to choose where he goes. If he chooses
I
to
thought
go
it was
elsewhere,
kind of like the transition tag was top 10 money, and if he doesn't go anywhere else, that's what we have to pay him. And he signs with us.
yes, but that's the thing is
So
they
anything
have the
over
right.
that, we
Hold on, a la Charles Clay. Remember, we put the transition tag on Charles Clay. They offered Charles Clay more than what the average of top 10 was for Charles Clay. And then the Dolphins decided to rescind the transition tag on Charles Clay and allow him to sign with Buffalo. And we didn't get any compensatory pick. We didn't get anything in compensation. Does that make sense?
Well, then to me, that kind of just sounds stupid.
It does sound stupid,
That
but
Ireland?
that's the fucking way the rules are.
Well, no, that you just said that we decided not to go ahead and take our pick.
But that's the thing is no, we have the right to first refusal, meaning you offered him this. We can match that. If we don't want to match that, we don't get the compensation pick. Or not compensation, then it's called tendered because you tender a transition tag at a certain round pick.
ACT, but okay, so in all of this, regardless of what happens, whether they match or not, does Christian Wilkins have to sign the transition tag in either case?
Say that one more time.
So, in whatever case, whether they match whether another team matches the offer sheet or not, does Christian Wilkins have to sign a transition tag?
Well, yeah. So he has the right to choose. So if two teams match, so again,
No,
if
he's
we
asking the tag itself.
him, so if
We
we
can tag him, but he doesn't have to sign the tag, is what he's asking.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I'm saying. No, he doesn't. He
But he'd
doesn't
be a
have
free
to
agent
sign.
no matter what.
Well,
Okay,
yes and
but
no. Yes and no. See, but
what I'm
that's
getting lost. But CT, real quick. But what I'm getting lost is here. Okay, right? He's a free agent, right? The Dolphins slap the transition tag on him, right?
yeah.
So the Dolphins, when they're negotiating with another team, right? Like, let's say if it's like if they were working to trade
Let's just say
Christian
Bills. It's
Wilkins,
easier.
but
All
free
right,
agents,
Bills.
right? Right? Let's
say the
yeah,
Bills sign Christian Wilkins. The Bills offer Christian Wilkins whatever the transition tag is.
right.
If we want to match it, we can say, all right, we're willing to match that. But he then has the choice. Do you want to stay with Miami or do you want to go to that other team a la the Bills? If he goes to the Bills, we'll get what's called the tendered pick. Meaning if we tender him at a second round pick or you tender him at a first round pick, it doesn't matter. It's the whatever you tender him with. If he decides to go elsewhere with the same competing contract, then you get that tendered pick from the team that he signed with.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, if he signs with that team as a free agent, does he have to sign the tag itself, or the tag is just you just slap on a player?
So no. He doesn't have to sign it. The tag is the tag. It's the same thing. Now again, yes, he could not sign the quote unquote, not sign the transition tag or not go along with it. But then he'd have to sit the year out, a la Le'Veon Bell when they franchise tagged him.
Right.
So if he doesn't sign it with us and he thinks that he's going to go sign with the Bills and then play this year with the Bills, that's not the way it works. He'd have to sit the year out.
It would be almost asinine with the transition
So the
tag.
transition
not to
tag
sign.
is just literally. So the transition tag is just literally a 1-year contract.
It's worthless. It's worthless.
It
And that's
allows
what I
us to
try
have
to
a
tell
chance
people.
is what it amounts to.
Yeah,
Oh,
what it
okay.
amounts to is it's pointless because if there are other teams that have more cap space to offer him more money in the first year than you can afford, then it's pointless.
Mhm.
What it kind of
It's the
means is
same
he's going
thing
to
that
get
Har-
top 10 money.
It's the
And if no
same
one
thing
offers
that
him
happened.
any more, then that's what we're going to get him for.
Exactly.
the
It's
top
the
five.
whole Charles Clay incident all over again. They're not the new team is not required to only offer him what the average of the top 10 is. It's not a set thing. It's like, oh, well, we're going to transition tag him at top 10, which would be like 17, 18 million. They still have the right to offer him a $20 million contract. But if you can't match that $20 million contract, you don't get shit. It's pointless because we tendered a second round pick with Charles Clay at $13.4 million. The Bills offered him $14.8 million, which was above what that average of the top 10 was, and we didn't want to match it. So we couldn't match it, or we didn't want to match it. So instead of trying to match it and getting that compensatory pick, the Dolphins just said, you know what? We can't match that. We rescind our transition tag of him because we're not willing to match it. That's how the Charles Clay shit unfolded.
F. Charles Clay.
And I understand that's Charles Clay, but the process still works the same. Say we offer him, again, we transition tag him top 10. Say top 10 is only 16 mil a year. But somebody offers him 18 million a year. If the Dolphins aren't willing to match that, it makes the transition tag worthless.
Yep, I just read that. If they choose not to match, yeah, they basically don't get any compensation.
Exactly. It's
Yep.
if you're not willing to match it, it doesn't mean shit. Which is why people or teams don't transition tag a lot of guys because they know if I'm not willing to match it, what do? They just rescind the tag because they know they're not going to get shit anyway.
Right. But I think like Christian Wilkins, because he's going to be in high demand, right? Like he's one of the best. You know,
D
he's already
tackle.
an elite.
Yeah.
He's already an elite. No, not only that, he can play two positions, right? He can play DN and DT,
Man,
and he can play all over the line. But
that's even more valuable.
and not only that, but the guy can, you know, what was I gonna say? Not only is he a premier run stuffer, right? He set records in recording the number of total tackles as a defensive end, right? He had 89 in 2021. He had 89. Sorry, in 2022 he had he had 98 tackles in 2022, setting that he broke the record for most tackles by a defensive tackle. So he added another phase to his game, which is that pass rushing element, and he got 9 sacks. So
how much of that is based on Bradley Chubb? How much of that is based on Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips?
CT, but listen, Christian Wilkins, if you look at ESPN's pass rush win rate stats, right?
Give a shit about that.
Hold on.
It doesn't
But
matter, but the scheme makes a difference. So
I know that, but let me get to
Bradley
my
Chubb and Jalen Phillips
Jesus Christ.
that they have to pay attention to. They can no longer continue to just double team Christian Wilkins, which they did in his first 4 fucking years with Miami when we had no outside rushers. They go, hey, the only guy we got to worry about is this fat fuck in the middle.
I get that. I get that, CT, but even if you had Bradley Chubb on the line, you still Christian Wilkins took up to like 65. He was double teamed 65% of the time, and he had a pass rush win rate of 13%, which was 13th in the NFL. So it don't matter whether they were doubling Chubb or not. He was still getting double teamed the majority of the snaps. So that even adds to his worth as a player. And now that he's
But
a
the
two-way
question
player,
is, are the statistics skewed in the games that Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips were injured and not playing? The statistics can be skewed.
could be.
Bro,
But
we
again,
played 4
Well, then,
fucking
if they were
games.
playing, then they could even be better.
right, exactly. And the thing is
That's
like
my
Christian Wilkins,
point, though.
whether
That's
Chubb,
my
but
point.
CT, look, listen,
And he's already
the
saying he's
stats are
top
taken into
13.
But again, you're already taking whether Chubb is on the field or not. They're taking into account whether those guys, whether Phillips or Chubb are on the field or not. He's getting double teamed 65% of the time. It's Christian Wilkins such a great player and why he's worth what he's asking for. Maybe not the Aaron Donald money, but he definitely deserves to get paid that Quentin Williams just because, again, he's already an elite run stuffer. All he needed to do was add the pass rushing element. And he bet on himself. He won. He got 9 sacks, 23 quarterback hits. He got 10 tackles for loss. He proved himself by having 2 seasons in a row where he has over 10 tackles for loss and 9 sacks. So now that he's a dual threat defensive tackle, because like I said, most defensive tackles in the NFL are usually just good run stuffers, or they're
Yep.
and very few of them are passers. No, this guy is a dual threat, right? And he's doing that while taking on the double teams. So he has all the leverage in the world now at this point to determine how much he wants to get paid. So for Miami, now when it comes to that production that he put up the past 2 years, that makes him a hot commodity, right? There's going to be a lot of demand for a lot of teams are going to be looking for his services. So you're going to expect teams with a lot of cap space, like the Chicago Bears, like the Arizona Cardinals, like I think the Minnesota. I don't think so, but those are going to be teams that are going to be looking for Christian Wilkins, a guy that might not be Chris Jones or Aaron Donald, but damn shit, he's very fucking close to their caliber in terms of the two-way production that he was able to put up the past 3 years, right? So that means
And my argument is he goes to Arizona where they don't have edge rushers and he fucking doesn't produce. Then you get into the argument of, again, was he a product?
Utah Phins fans, looks like Wilkins is about to get the franchise tag.
Yeah, that's not breaking news, bro. Don't fucking bust that bitch out unless it's real. Anyway,
but CT, but I was like, what I was trying to say is,
I'm trying to say though.
I know what you're trying to say. I know what you're trying to say. If you put him into another system without stud pass rushers on the outside, will he be able to produce like he did in Miami when he had Chubb? I get that, but the thing is, what I'm trying to say is, when you take his production, right, his ability to play all over the line, his top end production in both phases of the game, whether playing rush defense or he's getting after the passer or stopping the run, it don't matter. That production the past 3 years, putting up top 10 production at those in 2 phases of the defense, putting top level production, he's able to make himself a hot commodity, meaning that there will be a team that are willing to pay top dollar what he's seeking, right? They would be willing to pay what he's asking for. So
I
Miami
agree.
could be in a position to put the transition tag,
Match it.
right?
He
Right.
cannot match it. That's the whole point.
Oh, we
Period.
cannot match. Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
That's the whole point. If you're going to franchise tag him and you're going to say, hey, we'll pay you $21 million, which is the franchise tag.
Right. I agree.
Pay you the franchise tag, but all you're going to do is either you sign with us or you sit the fuck out. That's your choice. But if you're going to try to transition tag him, which is what I'm trying to say, the transition tag is fucking worthless because if they're willing to offer more, then it makes no fucking sense to transition tag him.
Right.
If you cannot match another team's offer, then you might as well franchise tag him and say, play for us at this much or sit the fuck out. That's it. It's the duality of saying, just like the Sports Illustrated article I just looked at, and I'll send it to you guys. The transition tag is for low-level guys that you want them to be core players and you think that they've got modest interest in the market and you think that you could get a lower subjugation of salary without having to overpay. The problem is we're not in that situation with Christian Wilkins because he played so well. The transition tag with Wilkins is useless. If you're going to tag him, you got to franchise tag him. Period. That's it. That's it. If you're going to tag him, you franchise tag him, and you're done with it.
Tag his ass.
Because we know with the transition tag, other teams have more cap space than we do. So why are you going to fuck yourself? Why are you going to fuck yourself by not franchise tagging him? If you want him to stay,
we don't know our cap thing right now, though.
Yeah, we do. Stop.
Oh, actually,
I was just hearing today that it could be up to about $60 million.
Hey, I heard.
I heard that it's not going to be 60 from according to Spotrac. The inclusion of the multimedia conglomerate deals, they're going to increase the overall cap space from last year by $22.6 million. And I have this article up right now. So, yes, technically, we were $64.7 million over the cap. The difference between the 22.6 and the 64 million, we're going to be over $52 million.
But once we restructure who they believe that they're going to, they're saying we should be able to get back up to about 60.
Yeah, they got to restructure. They got to
doing those shows.
They got to restructure. They got to restructure Tyreek Hill because he's owed $36 million next year, and then 2026, I think like it goes up to like $52 or $56 million. So they're probably gonna have to extend Tyreek Hill to kind of like push that money down They can restructure him, but it'll be better if they re-sign him to like a contract extension to push that money down further down the road. So it lowers the cap in 2025 and 2026.
And you're right, but the thing is Big Philly and I on his show, he had a great show. If you haven't seen it, we went on Spotrac. We re-signed and restructured 11 guys.
Yeah, I wanted to do that on here, CT, but
$42 million in cap savings. The problem is that $42 million on those 11 guys only give us $42 million. we're still $12 million over the cap.
What about okay?
That's
So
without
There's
signing.
not one show
That's
that
without signing
anywhere near
anybody
what you
else.
just did on that show.
you can
Say it
use.
again.
I would like to use
Hold
over the
on.
cap.
Green Rat.
I said every show that I've listened to and stuff that that I would say usually get pretty close to being right has said it's close to about 60 depending on who we cut and who we don't cut.
I like watching
And
cow
so
crab
even 60,
explanation.
that means that we have we're going to be 8 million over the cap.
When do we start
No.
cutting people? When do we
We're
start
gonna be
cutting
60
people?
million to the good.
I would
Spidey,
love to see that. Please send me whatever
when do
fucking
we start?
retard
When
or
do we
whatever
start cutting
Cajun
people?
I
is
saw a couple
saying
of
that.
different ones, and then
You
I
can-
also seen it
You
on
can
Reason
start
show.
cutting.
That's what they're claiming, him and EM.
Please send me those shows. Look, reason. Look, I'm not
what?
gonna get into personal.
Euro step, CT, Euro
If
step.
they're gonna. No, I'm just saying. Look, I will go watch his shit. I don't watch his bullshit, but I will watch it. I would love to see the reasoning and the explanation and that. I'd love to see.
I don't know if there's any explanation. I just know that's what they were talking about.
So
on
when
that
do we
show.
start cutting people?
I think it was
Okay,
Right.
Bleezy,
Omar and
hold on.
Bluebard were talking about it on one show
Bleezy,
too.
so you could basically you could basically start cutting players and save money because June 1st. Because if you cut players pre-June 1st, yeah, if you cut,
Before that, we can do it
Cedric
before that,
Wilson's gone.
and we can do it
yeah,
after
but you
that.
gotta. But depending on the player and depending on their contract,
Exactly.
you have to
X
hold
is
on.
a post June 1st designation. That would save us $15.8 million according to Spotrac.
What
If
did
we
Cedric
got
Wilson
rid of,
save us?
say it again.
What did Cedric Wilson save us? He's already gone.
After the draft.
His contract was voided. But I was just saying, like Xavier Howard, for example, like it's complicated because like if you cut, like let's say, if you cut or you trade Xavier Howard before I think March 11th or March 17th, one of those days, you could save $4 million in terms of you don't have to pay his roster bonus. By March 11th or 17th, I don't remember the day. I think it was March 11th. If once March 11th comes, which is what the start of the negotiating period, once March 11th comes, you have to pay him his roster bonus, which means it's going to be in the tune of somewhere between $3 to $4 million. But if you cut him before March 11th, you could save those $4 million, $3 or $4 million. You can save those $4 million because you don't have to pay him. You're not obligated to pay him his roster. His I think it was his roster bonus. Yeah, roster bonus.
So let me tell you this. So I'm bringing it up. So Xavier Howard. So if we go ahead right now, as of this moment, okay, he is owed $25,906,582. Okay. His base salary is $15,400,000. So if we June 1st cut, we will save that $15.4 million. The other fucking what is it? 9,400,000 and something $1,000 will be dead cap. Okay? So in this situation, again, Tyreek, his base salary is $19.665 million. His cap hit is $31 million. So if obviously we're not going to fucking have $11 million in a cap hit, you're not getting rid of Tyreek. But say you restructure him and you spread out that, what is it now, $11 million over 3 years, you can save $4 million on this year's cap. And that's I'm on Spotrac right now. What are you going to save for? $4 million of savings is great, but that overall, that doesn't do shit.
I don't even know.
That, like I said, we went on it through Spotrac. We had 11 guys. We had 11 guys that we cut and restructured to make $42 million, but we were over the cap $52 million. We'd still be negative $10 million. Where are you going to fucking sign Christian Wilkins? Where are you going to sign re-sign Robert Hunt, Connor Williams, guys like Jerome Baker? You're not. It's not happening. It's not happening.
They're not going to sign Connor Williams. That guy is.
I know we're not going to re-sign a lot of guys, but the whole premise is
we should keep Connor Williams, but we probably can't afford him. That guy's
we can't afford none of these motherfuckers, bro.
Connor's only like 28 years old, man. We should.
He is, but he's got 2 ACL injuries.
But he wants between, his agent says he wants between $8 and $10 million a year, which is average starting center money.
Well, pay his ass.
With what fucking money?
Well, then draft Jackson Power Johnson.
Exactly, which is shout out to Dolphin. She knows what she's talking about.
Shout out to Dolphin.
Yeah, man, you re-sign you draft the young center and linebacker, and I love the fact that she came back out here and she said the 2 things that I wanted were her 2 main priorities. Get a center and possibly a linebacker. She wants to go back-to-back linemen, but she'd be willing to go center and linebacker, and I agree. I think those are our 2 biggest needs.
Hey, Greenrad, what's your lean on the first couple of draft picks?
We don't fucking talk about the draft until free agency's over. It's the dumbest fucking thing I know in the world. Because we don't know what we're going to need until the draft comes.
I agree with that.
I agree with that. But at the same time, the overall
I don't pay attention to any of it.
Doesn't matter, because if we talk about who we're going to sign in free agency,
I hear you, but forget about who we draft. Forget about it. Who would you pick no matter what we draft?
Well, I don't know. From what I understood is they're re-signing, redoing Chubb's contract and Phillips's contract, and hopefully get something done with Hunt's. I mean, it just depends on how much fucking money Ross wants to throw.
And that's where I was trying to say, Green Rat, is, bro, like you said earlier, I like the idea of 2 at 45. And how do you manipulate that? Okay, I'll give you that 45, but he's going to want more than 45. There's no way his agent's going to see Daniel Jones paid at $42 million and shit the bed and all that. He's going to want that $52 million range. I'm good with that. If Ross is willing to say, hey, I'll give you $52 million a year over 4 years, but I'm going to give you a $40 or $50 million signing bonus that then reduces your cap hit to $43, $44 million a year. We can swallow that. We can swallow that.
I look at it different. I think Greer and them should be sitting there trying to talk to all these. I mean, Tua'S starting to hit commercials and stuff. Well, if I was Greer and them, I'd be fucking having someone go out and set him up with all these TV advertisements and stuff and pay him that way
All of a sudden, Tua is
versus
very
paying it against our
marketable.
cap and shit.
Well, that's a good thing too. But again, I don't know how that works because I mean, if you're gonna try to
Well,
entice
that would
him
just
based
between
on
Tua and
advertisement-
the Dolphins and stuff. If the Dolphins can go get him 3 or 5 different commercials, it's worth $10 million or whatever each because
All
they
of a
get
sudden,
ungodly
Tua
stupid money
is
to do
very
it.
marketable.
But
Who'd have
here's the
thought
thing: who's to say that they not pitch him that offer, and then he go, "Nah, fuck you. I could go get my own commercial deals."
that? Dude's
He
balling.
could.
Tua
Hey,
is
I wonder-
But why
million.
not? Why not if you're signing a contract on all this shit all at once? You got your money. I mean, get your money's
Tua
is the basis of what
I
you're trying to
agree.
do.
I'm
Who
just
gives a
saying,
shit who pays it?
and I agree. I'm just saying that again. You got to get into the situation where these agents aren't stupid. Hey, yeah, you're offering me these commercial contracts. I can go out and get my own commercial contracts.
If I'm Tua's agent, I'm saying, bitch, don't even try to pay me less than Justin Herbert. Don't even think about
I
it.
don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because just like you yourself said at the beginning of the show, so don't contradict yourself, motherfucker. You done
Oh,
said
shit.
that they overpaid Justin Herbert. So
Well, I did say
I'd be
that.
willing to say I
That's
will
what
be
I-
willing
hey,
to go on to a hey.
I'm
Look,
saying
they
if I'm an
overpaid
agent,
Justin Herbert.
CT, let
I'm-
him explain. Let him explain himself. CT.
if
Go
I'm
ahead,
Tua's,
Beezy.
if I'm Tua's agent, it's not my fault they overpaid him. They
And I
overpaid
agree.
him.
That's the argument I made at the beginning of the show.
They
It
set the
doesn't
market.
matter.
They set the market. Don't
Hey, I got
shortchange
something in the
me.
private chat.
Exactly. And it's the same thing that I argued that they paid Daniel Jones $42 million to start for fucking the Giants, and he ended up fucking unemployed. So, again, I understand that. But what I'm saying is if you can make a deal with Miami and say, hey, I'll give you 48, maybe 50 mil a year, but Ross is willing to give you 50, 60 million dollars in a signing bonus for us to make your cap hit around 24, 25 mil a year. That's much more palatable than cap hitting fucking 50 mil a year.
All
And
right,
pretty
check
much,
this out.
how is that any fucking different than getting him fucking some gigs on commercials? It's the same shit. Trying to put a little money here out of, instead of, and then it's still not out of Ross's pocket. I mean, to me, it makes sense.
I agree with that, and I understand what you're saying, but I have the analytical mind of an agent. Why would I give you that luxury if I
Because they're
could go
still
out
going to
and get
make money off of it, and they're not going to have to do any legwork.
I mean, okay, I can understand that. Okay,
And how much fucking money are they making anyhow? I mean, really, come on.
Exactly, and I get
One
it. I'm
player
just
will
saying,
give you a fucking lifetime worth of good versus, however
but you know
many
what I'm
they
trying
have.
to say, Green Rat, is as an agent, why am I gonna bow down to you on commercial deals when I could go out here and get him his own commercial deal?
Because he better be a
That's-
fucking Dolphin fan, that's why.
Talk to him.
Get it, Green Rat, get it.
Who would have thought Tua would be so marketable?
Bro, we knew from day one, number one, people don't understand this. And I'm not being disrespectful in any way, and I don't want it to be taken that way. He is extremely marketable in the fact that he's a Christian. He's a Polynesian young man He has a certain niche.
Hi,
He
Black.
has a certain niche. Yeah, he
Niche is not a fucking word.
niche.
whatever you want to
Niche.
fucking call it.
Tomato,
Niche,
tomato.
niche, tomato.
But the thing is,
I say niche.
he's
I
a
say
young
niche.
half black.
Niche.
He's young
Hey,
half black. He's
French.
Polynesian. He's a Christian man.
Did you say he's half black?
Say it again.
Did you say he was half black?
Yeah, didn't you say his father is half black and half Polynesian?
Who is that?
Well, if you want to get to the whole,
You're talking about Anthony Weaver. My bad. I'm sorry, my bad. I thought you were talking about
Talking
Tua.
about Anthony Weaver.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I'm
my
talking
bad.
about
Sorry.
Weaver,
You're talking
bro.
about Tua. My bad. Sorry,
Yeah,
my bad.
no, I'm talking about Weaver, bro. God
I was
damn.
showing Tua. I was showing
Hey, you had me lost too, so.
I was showing
No,
Irv
we're,
sent this clip about Tua and so I was showing
yeah, but that's where it got fucked up because he wanted to throw this bullshit in.
my bad.
Never.
It confused everybody. It confused everybody. But
Well,
again,
you see, never mind. Go ahead, CT. No, go
I
ahead.
was just saying that again. I mean, he tries to fucking go every which way.
I'll leave it off.
Yeah, we'll get to that right now. We'll get to it in a second. But the whole thing is you got a Polynesian guy who's half black and Weaver. He's got that Polynesian background to promote Tua. You've got the same aspect of he can. Oh shit, my bad. He can relate to Tua. There's also the one of the assistant offensive line coaches that we just brought in is a Polynesian guy. There are so many aspects that I feel like Mike McDaniel is trying to take advantage of the cultural aspect. And
I don't even know.
I like it though. No, I like it because, bro, the Polynesians are fucking big dudes. They're hardworking. They're
Paul Soliai.
But what does a defensive guy have to do with Tua? What are they going to be yelling at each other?
He's the assistant offensive line coach.
I remember Paul Soliai's big ass, man. Believe me, you didn't want him pushing.
He was actually
he ain't got nothing to do with what I'm fucking talking about. So I agree with Green Rat. I don't give a fuck about Paul Soliai. I'm saying this guy, he's an assistant offensive line coach. He's Polynesian. He's got it's all across the board, bro.
What's his name? You guys got his name?
I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name.
He was the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach for Hawaii, the University of Hawaii.
Yeah, I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm gonna leave it be there. But
I think it's solid. Yeah, me too. Because it'll be a nightmare.
Exactly. We're fucking Hispanic. We're not fucking.
I mean,
the whole point is, I like the idea, though. But I like the idea of you got a Polynesian guy who's who's helping run the O-line for a Polynesian guy. It's a respect. Hey, let you take care of your brother, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That was fucking horrible.
I mean, there's also Polynesian offensive linemen in the draft that the Dolphins could draft. There's Fuanga.
We tried that with Isaiah Zada, and that fucking went downhill.
That's a pretty bad take. I got to give you credit for that.
Yeah, bro. We fucking did the Isaiah Zada bullshit, and that didn't work out.
No, CT, no. These are good, very, very good college prospects
Well, you should have
that
drafted
could be
Panay
gone before we
Sewell.
could draft them.
If
Yeah.
that's
Oh
the
my God.
case.
Stop it, Bleezy. Stop. You just hell.
You
Oh
should
my
have
God.
drafted Panay
No.
Sewell.
Yeah. You see, I shouted
Hold
you out,
on.
MC. I
Shut the
shouted
fuck
you out,
up. I
MC.
gotta address this. MC, did somebody spinning? Because your boy Baricua Pocoresa de homie. Nah, man, you're the
Yo
whitest
soy
motherfucker in
boricua
the
para que tú
bro.
lo sepas.
Stop.
Only
He's from Vega
Jets
Baja.
fans talk about
Blanco.
the draft.
Un Blanco, brother. Un Blanco.
You're
Sorry.
right, Green Rat. It's too. I mean, before we
No,
know,
no, stop it. We're $43 million over the cap, or 42, whatever.
Nah,
And
it's
no,
52.
we
It's 52.
before we know,
whatever.
who we're cutting. What about AVG? If we're keeping AVG, we
Yes,
don't.
we are CT. We are currently $52 million over the cap. If the salary cap projections, if the salary cap increase is accurate as it's been reported, then I think we're gonna be like $43 million under the cap. So we're gonna maybe have a $7-8 million cap,
Que tu la
additional
sepa,
cap
homie, bro. I say it
to play
correctly,
with.
bro. You're fucking El Blanco, bro.
Yo soy boricua para que tú lo sepas. He actually knows how to pronounce it well,
Yeah,
so proud of
exactly. Don't see, look, even
Cayete,
fucking
putos.
Irvin, I pronounced it correctly, bro. Get out of here, fucking El Blanco.
But anyways, like I was saying, we're gonna be $43 million of the cap. Like, dude, like or 52, whatever it is. We're gonna need to like stack on cheap young contracts.
Yep.
Like,
I think we signed Lamb again.
Draft
Did I hear
capital to
that
do
correctly
it.
today?
That's the problem. We don't have the draft capital to do it. That's the
That's
problem.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
willing to trade
that's
out,
exactly. Me
of
too, CT.
21, trade
Me
out
too.
of 21, get 30 or 31 in the first, get your guy, but get an extra second round pick. Then you trade those 2 second rounds, get a late second, third round, and fourth round pick, and then the Miami Dolphins have a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth and seventh round pick.
Screw
And
that.
not only that,
Take all the
you can
picks to
trade
move
down.
up in the first round and get us a good offensive lineman.
No, you ain't fucking Espanol, bro. You're wet as fuck from Georgia, bro. Stop it.
Listen, there's even if you trade down, right? Oh shit. Even if you trade down to 30, 31, you're still gonna get there's still quality offensive linemen on the board. You got, Connor Beebe from I think he's from Northwestern, if I'm not mistaken. You got Connor Beebe. You have guys like Barton probably be gone. You still have Cedric Von Prime from Georgia. You have Frazier. You still have a lot of guys that you can get within that range in that late first, second, upper second. So yeah, I'll totally I wouldn't mind. I'll be open to trading down and acquiring more draft picks. I mean, we would need it.
Trade down as far as going higher or go lower.
Hello.
Higher.
See, Green Rat saying go higher. He's saying fuck it, let's get a quality player, and I kind of agree with that. Fuck quantity. We need quality.
Just so everybody knows, that's the whitest fuck on the fucking face of the earth. He trying to claim that he fucking some bullshit that he ain't.
Yeah,
Bro,
he's
you're a
slim.
fucking
He's
white boy
slim
from
and Trump.
Yo soy boricua para que tú lo sepas.
He's slim and Trump.
No,
fucking
but yeah,
chupa
Connor Beebe.
chupa me.
Beebe. And the thing is about this draft, right? You got guys.
Estura en blanco.
Mira, puto, déjame hablar. Mira, puto, déjame hablar. Cállate la boca. Listen, I was just gonna say that you got a lot of offensive linemen in this draft that are versatile. Like they could play inside, outside.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Go
Oh
back
my
to that
God.
picture one more time.
What?
Go back to that picture, CT. Hold on. I'm sorry, Irvin. I had. Man, who's
Yeah,
that
bro,
good-looking
you
guy
white
right
as
there?
Who's
fuck,
that
bro.
sexy? Who's that sexy fucker?
Who's that sexy bonito right
I
there?
mean,
Dale!
the only one, hey, the only one that's finding that sexy
Look
is
at that.
the other
Look at that.
Blanco Chica. But yeah,
You zoom in.
stop it.
Hold on. Go
Don't,
back.
bro, don't make me kick you out, bro.
No,
Don't come
go.
here
You
and
talking
claim
to me?
something
Hold
you
on.
ain't,
Go
bro.
back.
Stop it.
Go back. Hold on. One more thing.
I
Go
done
back.
fucking
Hey,
gone back like 5
I
times.
know.
I ain't
No, you
wasting
haven't. You
time
done
in
it,
this show,
bro.
bro.
You done it. Uno, bro. Uno.
Bro, I fucking almost fucking 40, bro.
No, you didn't. That's
Bro,
it.
I fucking put
All
this
right.
shit up like
Hold on.
fucking 5 times, bro.
If you zoom in, you can see that muy grande.
oh my god.
You can see that.
Yeah, I
If you
know.
zoom in a
You
little
are
bit,
muy grande
you
for a
can see that
white
muy
guy.
grande finger right there con la
Okay.
boca.
I
Goddamn.
know. I
Bleezy,
said suck a
Bleezy.
dick if you want to come out and copy
Yeah,
me.
no.
All
You
right,
talking
so
shit.
anyway,
You're not
let's
talking.
get
You
to
talking
real fucking
coño. You talking coño con
conversations,
la
bro.
Puerto Rican, bro. Yo soy
Bro, you're a
puertorriqueño.
fucking
Yo
white
soy
boy. Stop it, bro.
puertorriqueño.
All right, break it up. Shut the fuck up. Fuck
Cállate,
Oh
off.
shit.
poto.
Oh
Thank
shit.
you. God damn, bro.
Oh, goddamn.
All
All
right,
right.
so let's get back to fucking Dolphins. Go ahead, Irvin.
No, I was just saying that you got a lot of guys in this particular draft class, right? Who are guys that are versatile and they can play multiple positions. Like, you got Jackson Powers Johnson. He can play right guard. He's played center. I saw him at the Senior Bowl playing those two
I want
positions.
him
He
to say,
dominated.
Knowing
oh,
this much
sorry.
about
I want him
offensive
to say,
linemen and shit means that you're not getting laid.
Listen,
It's way
motherfucker,
too
you
much
need an
time
offensive
spent.
line. You need an offensive line. Well, there's people that have more extensive knowledge than I do. So, and they do this for a living and all this other
And they're
stuff. But
really not
anyways,
getting laid.
shit. And they still get laid. I don't know about that. I don't know about
like
anybody's
calling
sex life.
What
But
does
MC.
getting laid have to do
Blow
with
up
anything?
dolls do not count there, Jet fan.
again,
It's like calling an
listen,
MC handle.
Mr. Jets fan. If you want your fucking quarterback to be standing upright and you don't want him in the IR, you better beef up the fucking offensive line, especially that your quarterback is 6'1" and he can't see over a tall offensive line, and you
Hey,
need
Jet
you
fan,
need the
didn't I
interior
say to
offense.
trade up to go get a fucking good lineman?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part. My bad.
Yeah, I said that. That was me.
All right.
Y'all here for the tiger? Y'all here for that tiger, huh? You know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all need to be here for a real one though. Tigers ain't real ones. You know what I'm saying? The real attract. Bring that camera down here. Yeah, you see it. You see it.
That's like MCJB.
I don't know if that's CT or if that's MJB.
No,
Oh,
that's
shit.
MCJB in the club trying to get some attention because he said, "I'm Venezuela. I'm Hispanic." Nah, you what is fuck? Stop it.
Let's put a ribbon on it. Let's put a bow on it. I want to give a shout out to.
All right, hey.
I want to give a shout out to Dolphin, man. For real.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
that was cool. I missed the first part of the interview. I should have caught
Go
it.
back and check it out,
Man,
dude.
you got to
Yeah.
go back and check it out. She came in, gave us some great takes.
Really
I love
did.
Hey, Dolphin be giving us some good shit. She knows what she's talking about.
She already said she'll be
Intellectual
back.
conversation, man. That's what we want on this channel. We don't want all the drama. Just like she said with the Twitter, she stays out that business.
Right.
She don't want that drama. She want intellectual conversation.
Talk Dolphins, man.
That's what this fucking channel is all about. Shout out to
Well,
Dolphins.
then me and Irving should have been on here instead of you two.
Well, you should have.
I know, except you're the
I think she's very knowledgeable. I disagree with some of the
you're
stuff
the
you guys were
NBC
saying.
shit talker. You're the
Well,
shit
hold on, what do
talker.
you disagree
She don't want
with?
the drama, bruh. She don't want the
I
drama.
think I threw it in chat. I think
Hold
most
on.
of the time as we were going.
What are you talking about? I mean, which one? I mean, no, I don't care. I don't think she cares either. But what'd you disagree about?
Fucking let me go look.
No, I think it was offensive.
Oh, there's all kinds of shit. His
I think Green
fucking
Rat said something
thoughts will
about
be
the
an hour
offensive.
long.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all right.
Hilarious.
We're
She
gonna
said
wrap it up.
Eichenberg. She said
Uh-huh.
Eichenberg sucks dick. She said Xavier Howard is amazing. She said that. She said Mike McDaniel needs to learn how to call some fucking plays.
It's
Anyone hacking on our coach
She
is
said, hold
ignorant.
on.
Hacking
Because
on
I took notes. I took notes like Bleezy. She said Jerome Baker sucks dick. So that's another fucking
That was your
against-
bitch ass, and you know it.
not necessarily in those words, but yeah.
She said
right.
Jerome Baker sucks dick. She
All
said
right.
Eichenberg sucks dick. That she
All right.
wants Jerome Powers at center, baby. Bro, come on.
It said,
She came out and said CT on point, center and linebacker, because Jerome Baker sucks dick. We ain't re-signing him. We need somebody who can actually be a fucking linebacker. And then she said,
all
we
right.
need
I got one of the things that she was talking about that I really didn't, that I disagreed with quite a bit. She, when we started talking about signing Tua to a long-term contract, and you guys were talking about, or I believe the whole only 7 points, so he's not worth $50 million or whatever. Well, then what the fuck is Lamar worth? They only scored 10.
Exactly that one touchdown, and damn, I wanted to get on her ass about that and the Kansas City game, but man, bro, I mean, I wanted to get up because, bro, I even brought up the point. Why did Mahomes throw those four fucking terrible passes just to try to gauge the wind? And I think that playoff game, in those elements, yeah, there's a lot more to be discussed about that.
Well, the other thing was something about the offense and running out of
Yeah, but it's
unique
not only
plays
that.
and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, but it's also a bad situational play calling. Like your coach calling two behind the line of scrimmage screens instead of like driving the foot. Instead of running it on third and short. Like, not only that, you have injuries to two of your top four weapons. Like, Raheem Mostert and Waddle got high ankle sprains. Waddle's dealing with an ankle sprain as well. Like, Chan is dealing with a turf toe. Like, all those guys whose speed is, whose game is dependent on their speed and their acceleration, ability to separate and all that other stuff. It was negated, number one, by the cold, and just they're injured. So you look at the offensive line, right? Robert Hunt is limited with the hamstring injury. You're missing your left guard. You're missing your center. There's not much that Tua can do in that, especially in that weather, bro. Like, and the crazy thing is, like, when they stopped playing within the scheme and they were able to get out of it, and they just let Tua show urgency and play with fire, he started making some big boy outside the number throws.
Man,
I didn't break up, right? Did I break up?
No. Go ahead, Bleezy.
Oh, I thought I broke up. My bad.
I don't even know. Can y'all hear me? My shit keeps spinning, man.
You're good. We can hear you now. And then he broke up and froze. Damn.
I don't know if I was talking over him. My bad if I did.
No, it's not about talking over. He froze. But
I froze or he did.
Well, that goes back to the whole thing. Our offense. We had a bunch, but we decided late in